Hi, welcome back guys. This is your friend, the Luffy fanfics, back with the amazing fanfiction. This is the third part of What if Luffy ate Logia fruit and master Haki at young age? Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. What the hell was that? Nami yelled in shock. Logia, Zoro and Sanji muttered in disbelief. The Yami no my Luffy told his navigator, I've become a darkness man. So you're even stronger, Usopp muttered. It'll take a bit to get used to, Luffy admitted. Now on to the second point. How did your battles go? Luffy sat back down on the bed as his crew began to tell them about their fights. He was impressed with all of them. The resilience they showed was amazing. A large smile worked its way onto his face during Sanji and Zoro's fights as he heard about them both unlocking one color of Haki each. As they finished telling their stories, they looked at him and he knew they wanted to hear about his battle, so he told them everything. He could feel the glare of Vivi as he told her of his poisoning and the shock from his crew as he revealed that Miss All Sunday had saved him, so he saved her life. By the end of their tale, there was only 15 minutes until dinner. Vivi, can you get us a transponder snail? Luffy asked as he took his hat off. I have a call to make. Already, Nami asked as she noticed Luffy looking at the piece of paper attached to his hat. Is that who I think it is? We're going to call Whitebeard, Luffy told her as she turned white, so I need you all to keep quiet. Got it, Sanji replied as Vivi entered the room. Vivi handed the Den Mushi over to Luffy as he started to dial the number that Ace had given to him. The crew watched with bated breath as the snail dialed and was picked up by somebody. You've reached the ship of the Whitebeard Pirates, Yoi. A voice rang out. Who's calling, Yoi? Monkey D. Why, Luffy told the man. I'm calling to talk to Whitebeard. Ace's brother, the voice stated. I'll go get Pops, Yoi. So you're Ace's little brother? Another voice came across the snail. What does a brat like you want? Did Ace talk to you? Luffy asked while cursing his brother. He did. And while some of us didn't like being allies with a bunch of brats, the papers shut them up, Whitebeard stated. So we're allies? Luffy questioned. For now at least, Whitebeard admitted. What did you want to talk about? The Pirate King, Luffy stated. I hope you realize that I'm going to be the Pirate King. Fine, Whitebeard replied. I don't want the title anyway. I'll see you when I get to the New World then, Luffy stated as he heard the laughter from the other side of the snail. I'll see you then, brat, Whitebeard replied before the man hung up. We're allies with a Yonko, Nami screamed as Usopp turned white. So, how long until dinner? Luffy asked as the crew face planted. Later. This country's best bath, Cobra told the crew. It's usually only used in the rainy season. This is great, Usopp yelled as he took his towel off and ran towards the bath. I'll be there first. No, I will, Luffy yelled as he ran beside the man. Are you guys happy? Sanji asked as he watched the pair fall over. That's the best meal I've ever had, Cobra admitted as he sat in the bath. I thought of a quiet and tidy meal, but wherever all of you are, it will always turn into a party. Hey, Zoro, look, we can do training, Luffy yelled as he stood under the pouring water with Usopp. What training? Zoro replied as he stared at the pair. Hey, where is the girls' bath? Sanji asked Igaram. As if I would tell you, Igaram yelled. Princess Vivi is there. It's over that wall, Cobra told the cook. Your Majesty, you crook, Igaram shouted. Whoa, where are your manners? Usopp asked the man. With Nami and Vivi. This feel good, Nami said as Vivi cleaned her back. I wonder if there is a ship equipped with such a bath. There must be one. The sea is so vast, Vivi replied with a smile. There are giants and dinosaurs, a snowy country where sakura blossoms bloom. There is still so much to see. Nami chuckled as she turned to stare at the embarrassed girl. Let's swap. Thank you, Vivi replied as she swapped places and noticed the men and eyelashes looking over the barrier. Hey, what are you doing? Those guys. Happiness punch, Nami yelled as she stood up and revealed her chest to the men that shot off the barrier. That'll be 100,000 each. Nami, Vivi shouted in disbelief. You're still thinking. Or think of leaving today, Nami admitted to the woman. Huh, really, Vivi muttered. We don't have any reason to stay here anymore because Luffy recovered, Nami told her. The Marines are guarding the coast and our ship's in danger. Other side of the bath. Thank you all, the king said. Perverted old man, the Straw Hats replied. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the country, Cobra told them as he bowed to the pirates. Hey, is it all right for you to do that as a king? Zoro asked as he stared at the man. Cobra, your Majesty, this is a big problem, Igaram yelled in shock. Kings shouldn't bow their heads. Igaram, status exists if you wear your clothes. But here in the bath, the king told the man. There is no naked king. I'm speaking as a father with the heart of a citizen. To thank you, to thank everyone. Later, tonight, Usopp questioned. Yes, Nami replied. We're leaving, Chopper muttered. I think this is the right time to go, Zoro stated. What do you think? Yeah, the Marines have started to move, Sanji told the group. It's up to you, Luffy, Nami said to him. I would like another meal, but I guess it's time to go, Luffy admitted as they had a knock on the door. Come in. You've got a phone call, a nervous guard muttered, from someone called Little Bon Bon. Hey, it's me, Jaya ha ha ha, Akama, the voice yelled. Hang up, Sanji muttered with dark eyes. What do you want? Luffy growled across the phone. What? Isn't this Straw Hat Luffy? You're still alive. Akama is so happy, the voice yelled. Now look, don't call me Mr. 2. The Marines may have tapped the phone and I'll get into a lot of trouble. Get to the point, Zoro stated in frustration. Oh yeah, your boat. I took it, the man replied. Don't joke around, Luffy yelled. Where are you now? Aboard your ship, the man replied. This Akama pisses me off, Luffy growled. Wait, listen to me first. Aren't we friends, the man asked. Later the night. Why did you make me so long, Mr. 2 yelled from the Going Merry. Long time no see, you're all thinking about me. Oh, here we are, Nami said to the duck she was riding. You can take off the luggage now. Thanks for everything, Usopp told his duck. This is far enough. Thanks, Chopper stated to his duck. Careful on your way back, Luffy told the duck. Give my regards to the king and the curly-haired dude, Luffy yelled out as the ducks ran away. Take care, the rest of the crew yelled. Goodbye, if we're destined to meet again. We will, Mr. 2 cried. No, that's not right. Wait a second. What the hell, Sanji said with a scowl. You still ask? Geez, Mr. 2 complained. What's this, old friends meeting, and you don't say hi? Who's friends with you, Luffy asked as he glared at the man. You're an enemy. Wah, that time was my mistake, Mr. admitted. HMPH, forget about it, that's in the past. Move, Zoro stated as he walked past the Akama. Baroque Works is disbanded, Mr. 2 stated. We're not your enemy anymore. Even if we're not your enemy anymore, I don't have to let you aboard, Luffy told Mr. 2. HNN. And that's what I get for a favor, Mr. 2 complained. What are you talking about, Luffy asked in annoyance. Think about it, the Akama told them. If I didn't move this ship away, what would have happened to it? Probably confiscated by the Marines, Nami admitted. Not probably, certainly. It nearly got taken away. Don't you know the condition around here, Mr. 2 yelled. It's totally covered by Marines. Understand? Totally cover. Not even a goose would be allowed to escape. So you took the Mary, so the Marines wouldn't get it, Luffy summarized. Really, Usopp asked. Why, Chopper questioned. Because we are friends, aren't we, Mr. 2 stated with a smile. So, you're really a good guy, Luffy shouted as him, Usopp and Chopper danced with the man. Is there any more luggage, Nami asked Sanji. No, this is the last one, Sanji replied. So in short, it's because of the Marines that you weren't able to get away, Zoro told the Akama. That's why you came for help, right? That's right, Mr. 2 yelled. This is the time that enemies should come together and out of the situation. Really, Nami asked in distrust. We thank you all for the offer was here from Bon Clay's ship. Who cares about you all, Zoro shouted at them. The next day. Damn it, Luffy roared as he sliced through another iron spike that was shot at them. Fire the cannon, Usopp. We can't afford to let any more of these spikes hit to Mary, Sanji yelled as he kicked on away from the ship. If we take much more damage, we're going to sink. Luffy let a smirk work its way onto his face as he heard the cannon fire from the Going Merry. He watched as the cannonball flew through the air and hit one of the Marine ships in the mast. The Straw Hat Boy nearly broke down into laughter as the ship that Usopp hit fell sideways and took out the ship next to it as well. Mr. 2 Bon Clay, Luffy heard one of the man's men call. We've got bad news. Black Cage Hina is here. Who's that, Luffy asked as he landed on the deck of Mr. 2's ship. She's the captain of the Marines around her, Mr. 2 told Luffy. She's really strong. We better run. Yes, Mr. 2 Bon Clay, the Akama's crew yelled. What are you doing? Let's go, Mr. 2 yelled when he noticed the Straw Hats hadn't moved. If we go forwards, we will sink. You can escape, Luffy told the Akama. We have to go straight. But why, Mr. 2 yelled in shock. Because we have a meeting to make, Nami replied, thinking about her last talk with Vivi. Why would you risk so much for a meeting, Mr. 2 asked as he stared at the crew in disbelief. We're going there to pick up a friend, Luffy told Mr. 2 as the Akama started to cry. Fine then, listen up, crew, Mr. 2 yelled. Yes, Mr. 2 Bon Clay, the crew yelled back. If we run away now, we're not worthy of being Akama, Mr. 2 shouted with tears in his eyes. If we're not allowed to sacrifice ourselves for our friends, we wouldn't rest in peace, so listen up, Straw Hats, I've got a plan. The Straw Hats' eyes widened in shock as Mr. 2 told them his plan, and no amount of arguing would stop him from going through with it. So only minutes later the Going Merry continued on its path as Mr. 2 and his crew disguised themselves as the Straw Hats and headed for the gap in the formation. The Marines quickly surrounded Mr. 2's crew, and the Straw Hats swore they could hear the shouts of disbelief once Mr. 2 and his crew gave themselves up. We'll never forget you. Bon Bon, Luffy cried with Usopp, Chopper, and even Sanji. 30 minutes later. I recently went on an adventure, Vivi said over the loudspeaker as the Going Merry sat still at their meeting point. It was an adventure over deep oceans and dark tides in search of hope. The ocean I met on the day I left was vast and full of unbelievable islands which hold many things. There were creatures I had never seen, incredible sceneries and the sound of the waves. They are sometimes so peaceful, as if they were trying to cover up all the trouble around us, but sometimes they were so violent, as if they were laughing at the weak. But in the darkness and the storms I found a tiny ship. That ship pushed me forwards and told me, can you see those lights? That ship will always find its way out of darkness. It was truly an unbelievable ship. It's as if it was dancing, sailing through gigantic waves. Even though it seems they're just drifting, they only go forwards, even going against the wind. In the end it will raise its finger and say, look, there's the light. Even if history will make this light seem like an illusion, they will always be real to me. Did you hear that? Zoro asked. That speech right now was definitely from Vivi. It's the ceremony at Alubarna, Sanji stated with a sigh. Seems like she decided not to come. It just sounds like Vivi, that's all, Luffy said, stubbornly refusing to accept the truth. Let's go. It's almost 12 already, Zoro told Luffy. She will come, I know it, Luffy yelled in frustration. She's definitely over there. Let's dock and look for her. Bad news, Usopp yelled. The Marines have caught up to us. How many are there? Zoro asked. Too many. Let's sail now, Usopp replied. Full speed ahead. Forget it, Luffy, Sanji told Luffy. She is different from the Vivi that was with us. Everyone the crew heard a voice yell. Vivi, Luffy shouted in joy. Karu, Chopper shouted. Look, she came, Luffy shouted. Let's turn back, Usopp yelled. Vivi, Sanji screamed, love struck. The Marines are coming, Nami yelled with a smile on her face. I'm here to say goodbye, Vivi yelled. What did she say? Luffy questioned as he saw Karu pass a speaker to Vivi. I can't go with you. Thank you for what you've done for Vivi's voice came over the speaker again. Even though I still want to go with you, but right now I really love this country, so I can't come along, even though I want to stay here. But if there is one day where we meet each other again, will you take me as a friend? Luffy opened his mouth and closed it as he heard the Marines yelled out at the princess, questioning her relationship with the Straw Hats. The Straw Hat boy looked at his crew and nodded as they turned their back to the princess as tears flowed from her eyes. The crew unbandaged their left arms and threw them into the air, revealing the X on each of their arms, the mark of friendship that each would hold forever. Let's sail, Luffy yelled as the Going Merry picked up speed. Later, those Marines, they're not chasing us anymore, Luffy stated. It seems we've lost them. What's wrong with you guys? Zoro asked as he stared at the rest of the crew. We're lonely, the crew said as one with tears flowing from their eyes. Don't cry anymore. Geez. Still not accepting her leaving, Zoro muttered. I knew that I should have dragged her on board. Whoa, you're a barbarian, Chopper stated in disbelief as the rest of the cry insulted the swordsman. I understand. Just cry for all I care, Zoro replied as he brushed them off. At last, we're out to sea, a mysterious voice said as the crew stared at the woman and screamed. Good work. You're here for revenge, Zoro stated as he jumped back and drew Sandai Kaitsu. Come on. Why are you here? Nami screamed in terror. Ah, pretty lady, Sanji yelled with hearts in his eyes. Enemy on board, Usopp shouted in a fearful tone. Enemy on board. Ah, Chopper screamed as he failed at hiding behind the mast. Who is she? What? It's you, Luffy said as he cocked his head to the side. You're not dead. Don't point such dangerous things at me, Miss All Sunday stated as arms formed on Zoro and Nami and knocked their weapons from their arms. Didn't I tell you that before? How long have you been on board? Nami asked as she screamed at the woman. I was here the whole time in the cabin, reading a book and taking a bath, Miss All Sunday replied as she began to set up a chair. These clothes are yours, right? Lend them to me. What are you doing? Baroque works, Nami screamed. Monkey D. Luffy, the woman said as she stared at Luffy. The boy replied with his head still cocked sideways. You didn't forget what you said, did you? Miss All Sunday asked. Ah, Luffy, what did you say to this beautiful woman? Sanji yelled as he shook Luffy. Please leave the ship, Usopp yelled through a megaphone he somehow acquired. I didn't say anything to you, Luffy replied. No, I remember clearly. You better take responsibility, the woman stated as she sat down. You're really weird, Luffy told the woman. What do you want? Let me join your crew, Miss All Sunday replied with a smile as the crew screamed in shock. It's you who made me go on when I wanted to die. That's all your fault and I have nowhere else to go, so let me stay on the ship. Oh, if it's like that then there's nothing I can do, Luffy replied. It's okay. Luffy, the rest of the crew screamed in shock. Don't worry, Luffy told the crew. She isn't as bad as you all think. It didn't take long after that for Miss All Sunday, now revealed as Nico Robin, to win the trust of most of the crew. Sanji was already making her food. She had given Nami a jewel and was currently using her devil fruit ability to keep Usopp and Chopper entertained as Luffy sat on the figurehead of the Going Merry. He held his hand out and focused his powers once more. It took a while, but the black returned from before. With a smile, Luffy brought his hand up and felt the power run down his arm. This is an unusual situation, one of the Gorosei stated as he looked down at the paper in his hand. Why would such a powerful figure take notice of a rookie pirate crew? Not only that, another of the Gorosei said. He's gone out of his way to announce this group as his allies. And of course big news, Morgan couldn't let such an opportunity slip by him, a man said with annoyance in his voice. He's been posting about it 3 times a day. Plus this crew has a level of strength they could not reach alone, a fourth man said. There are reports of the captain using at least one form of haki as well as some of the Rokushiki. We need to let the world know about the threat that this small crew already poses, the last man in the room stated. But we have to do it in a way that doesn't track back to us. We have to make sure that Whitebeard doesn't think we ordered it to happen. What path are they on? The first man asked. From what we can gather, they will be going through Skypia if they try that. then go to Long Ring Long Land, and then go to Water 7. Cypher Pole 9 are still in Water 7, one of the men stated. Let them know to keep an eye out for the Straw Hats. Aokchi's around Long Ring Long Land, another of the old men said. That's too noticeable, a man stated. CP9 will know how to do it silently. Then we agree on that, the man replied. But before that we should release bounty posters. What do you suggest? One of the men asked with a raised eyebrow. We should give out 3 of them, the man replied. The first one would be for Straw Hat Luffy, the second one for Pirate Hunter Zoro, and the last one for... With the Straw Hats. Is it raining? Usopp asked the crew as he held his hand out. It's not rain, Sanji replied on confusion. Something is falling from the sky. How? Usopp replied as he looked up and his face went pale. A huge galleon, Nami screamed in fear as the other members looked on in shock. The large ship slashed down near the Going Merry and sent waves at the smaller ship that knocked the crew members off their feet and into a panic. The Straw Hats were forced to grab different pieces of the ship to regain their balance and be able to stand up. The waves continued to push the Merry as more pieces from the fallen ship fell down from the sky. As the pieces fell down around the Merry, one piece fell from the sky and straight onto Usopp. Usopp screamed in fear as he looked at what fell on him, a skeleton. Why'd a ship fall from the sky? Luffy asked in confusion once the broken ship stopped falling. Too weird, Sanji remarked as he looked at the sky. There's nothing up there, Zoro stated as he looked up. What? Nami screamed in shock. What's wrong? Nami swan, Sanji cooed as he looked at the navigator. What do we do now? Nami questioned as she continued to look at the log pose on her arm. The log pose is broken, it's pointing up and not moving around. That's not right. There's another magnetic field that's changing the direction of the pose, Robin told Nami as she looked up. If it's pointing up, that means it must have locked onto a sky island. Sky island? Nami questioned in confusion. What is that? There's nothing up there that looks like an island, Usopp screamed in fear. It's more like a floating sea, Robin explained. That's more confusing, Sanji stated. Let's go to the floating island, Luffy yelled out with a smile on his face. It's impossible for the ship to go up, Sanji stated as he looked at Robin. Do you know how to get there? To tell you the truth, I've never seen a sky island, Robin admitted, so I have no idea how to get to one. That's because it's impossible, Nami shouted in annoyance. The log pose is just broken. No, Miss Navigator. What you shouldn't be worried about is that the log pose is broken, Robin stated, but how to get there? What the hell are they doing? Zoro asked Chopper as he looked at the now sinking ship and noticed Luffy and Usopp. No matter how many times this ship is in a strange situation, whatever danger we find along the way, the one thing we can always count on is the log pose, Robin told them all. In this sea, we can only blame our narrow-minded way of thinking, because no matter where the log pose is pointing, there will be an island there. Then how do we find a way up there? Sanji asked as he looked up at the sky. We look for some clues, Mr. Cook, Robin replied as she looked around the deck and found the skeleton that fell from the sky. That will do. The crew watched in shock as Robin picked up the pieces of the skull that was on the deck of the Going Merry. The woman began to put the skull back together piece by piece as Zoro and Sanji looked over her shoulder and watched her closely. It didn't take long for Robin to put the skull back together and look over all the damage down to the skull. This hole here is not natural, Robin stated as Sanji raised his eyebrow. Is that how he died? Sanji asked as he knelt down next to Robin. No, this is caused by a surgery known as trepanation, Robin explained. Isn't that right, doctor? Yes, but that method is around 200 years old and was used to cure certain diseases, Chopper explained as he hid behind the mast with Nami. So 200 years ago, Robin mused as she pulled out a book and started to scan it. Found it. The ship was the St. Brice from the Brice Kingdom in the South Blue. It set sail 208 years ago. That's the same ship that fell from the sky, Sanji remarked as he looked at the picture in the book. Yep, it has the same sail, Robin replied with a small smile. This ship must have been up there for 200 years. You can gather that much information from a skull, a shocked Nami stated. He may not be able to speak, but he can tell his tale, Robin replied. If that ship was used for exploring, there must be a router on the ship, but it is sinking quickly. Hang on, Luffy, the crew heard Usopp yell as he held his captain above water. What are you guys doing? Nami yelled as Zoro jumped into the water as retrieved the pair. Look what I found, Luffy told the crew once he was back on board. A map of Sky Island, the crew yelled in shock as they looked at the old piece of paper that Luffy was holding up. Skypia, Nami muttered as she took the map from Luffy. Does this mean that there is really an island up there? Then let's go there, Luffy stated as Nami stared at him. We can't just go there. This map could be fake, Nami replied. What we really need is information like Robin suggested. How? Usopp asked. We'll just have to salvage the ship, Nami replied with a smile. It didn't take long for the 3 people to be chosen to salvage the ship. The first 2 would be fine if the makeshift scuba diving suits. Zoro and Sanji simply had a single barrel covering their upper bodies and head with tube connect to it, while Luffy had his whole body covered in 2 barrels with tubes connected to them. The idea was that the tubes would provide the 3 pirates the oxygen they need while they salvage the fallen ship. The trio was lowered into the water by a contraption that Usopp had created to help them find their way back to the ship. As they sunk through the water, they could see the large fish and sea monsters that swam beneath them. As they sank deeper into the ocean, they were left in the dark about what was happening on the Going Merry. Soon after they were lowered into the water, the crew members heard singing coming from near them. As the Straw Hats on the deck of the Going Merry were looking around, they noticed a large ship with a monkey figurehead coming towards us. They noticed the noise coming from the ship and the monkey-like man leading the loud crew. Their faces paled as they heard the word salvage and realized what the other ship was doing here. "What are you doing in my territory?" the monkey-like man roared. "Territory?" Nami questioned in confusion. "That's right, even sunken ship around here is mine," the man replied. "You didn't mess with my stuff, right?" "Sorry, can I ask you a question?" Nami asked as the money-like man looked at her. "You have something to ask?" the monkey man yelled in surprise. "Go ahead." "How are you going to salvage the ship?" Nami questioned. "Just watch," the man replied. "I've already sent a few men down." "Boss, we have trouble," a crewman yelled. What? The boss shouted as he turned around and noticed 3 injured men on deck. "What happened?" "It seems somebody punched him," a crew member yelled as the Straw Hats paled. "Hey, you!" the monkey yelled as he looked at the Straw Hats. "Be careful, it looks like there is somebody strong around here." "What an idiot," Nami thought. "Let's secure the hook and get ready," the monkey man yelled. With Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro, the 3 remaining Straw Hats were looking through the sunken ship. All they could find were broken swords, empty treasure chests, and a strange wooden boat-like item. As they were walking through the ship, they were startled by large metal blades piercing through the wood and locking into place. It wasn't long before bubbles of air seemed to be coming from the large blades, and the ship started to be lifted from the seafloor. As the air was filling the room that the trio were standing in, they noticed men with weapons close to them. They quickly jumped into action and started to beat down to men as they started to shout underwater. It didn't take long for the strange men to be knocked out and left lying on the floor. "We can take these off," Sanji stated as he noticed that the air filled the room. "That's good," Zoro replied as he took his barrel off. "There wasn't much down here," Luffy stated in disappointment as he took off both his barrels. "Who do you think those men belong to?" "I guess we'll find out when we get back up there," Zoro replied. "Hopefully nothing's happened to Nami Swan and Robin Swan," Sanji cooed with hearts on his eyes. "Who dares to cause trouble in my part of the sea?" The trio heard someone roar as the wall next to them came crashing down. "A monkey," Luffy said in confusion as he looked at the strange man. "Do I really look like a monkey?" the man asked with a blush. "Yep," Luffy replied with a smile. "Who are you?" Sanji questioned as he looked at the monkey man. "I'm Masira," the man replied. Masira is a human with ape-like features. He wears an orange-yellow jumpsuit and also has headphones and goggles. "He really does look like a monkey," Luffy repeated as he looked at the man. "Stop that," Masira shouted with a blush. "You're making me blush." "On the Going Merry." "What the hell is that?" Usopp yelled out in fear. "It's huge," Nami shouted as a large shadow was seen from the sea. "It's going to eat them," Chopper screamed as he ran around the deck. "What do we do?" "It seems it's too late," Robin stated as she watched the rope connected to the ship tighten. "It seems they have already been eaten, and if we do nothing about these ropes, we will be pulled under with the ship." "Do something, Robin," Usopp screamed. "You're supposed to be strong." "I can't. It's too big," Robin replied simply. "Cut the air pipes and rope," Nami screamed as the sky started to darken. "You're the devil," Usopp yelled as he noticed the dark sky. "What happened?" "We got to get out of her," the crew heard as Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji landed on the deck with giant bags. "You cannot leave," Masira yelled as he landed on the deck of the Going Merry. "You think you can come into my territory and steal my treasure?" "You got treasure?" Nami asked Luffy with bully signs in her eyes. "Yep, lots of it," Luffy replied with a large smile. "Captain, we have danger," a man from Masira's ship yelled out as he pointed off into the distance. "What the hell?" Usopp screamed in fear as everyone noticed 3 giant-like shadows. "Let's go," Luffy yelled out as the crew started to sail away from the large shadows. It didn't take long for the crew to escape from the darkness and not have to see the large figures standing over them. As they went through what had happened leading up to the sky darkening, they noticed that they still had Masira on board. "Get out of her, Luffy!" Zoro and Sanji screamed as they kicked the man away. After they had kicked Masira off the ship, they presented their treasure to the crew in hopes of finding some information on how to get to the Sky Island. They were disappointed when Nami began to rant at them about everything they bought back being dirty, rusted, or broken. The only thing that they could find out from the ship is that the passengers were killed by someone. Numerous skeletons had spears stuck in their skulls. "We found nothing," Nami complained as she walked up the stair. "That was a waste." "Then take this, Ms. Navigator," Robin stated as she held out her hand to reveal an eternal log pose. "What? This is an eternal log pose for Jaya," Nami said in shock as she looked at Robin. "How did you get this?" "I stole it from that monkey's ship," Robin replied with a small smile. "So we're going to Jaya," Luffy stated as he looked over Nami's shoulder, full speed to Jaya. "Wait a second," Usopp yelled. "Won't Jaya override the log pose?" "Stop," Luffy yelled. "Is there anything we can do, Nami?" We'll just have to leave Jaya before the pose is set, Robin told them as Nami dropped to the floor. So we should gather all the information we can as quickly as possible. Onwards to Jaya, Luffy yelled with a smile on his face. Later, still can't see it, Luffy asked Usopp as he laid down on the Going Merry's figurehead. I haven't seen it yet, Usopp replied as he continued to look through the binoculars. We should be close, Zoro stated. That monkey did say that this was his territory. And the weather has been steady for a while, Nami stated. So we are probably in Jaya's weather area. So Jaya's a spring country, Luffy thought aloud. It's so warm, it feels good, Chopper stated. Spring is such a good season, even those seagulls seem to be feeling good. Luffy muttered as he looked up and noticed the seagulls falling onto the deck. Ah, they were shot, Chopper screamed as he looked at the dead seagulls. Shot, Usopp questioned in confusion. I didn't hear any gunshots. That's because it came from the island, Luffy stated as he looked forwards. That was someone's sniper. What, Usopp shouted in shock. How can someone make a shot like that? Jaya, looks like Roshio has taken another easy win, a pirate in the bar laughed. You got lucky the way I see it, Roshio laughed at the man across the table. Sorry, pal, but with this you'll have nothing left, unless you're going to bet your underpants as well. Roshio is a tall and muscular man with long white dreadlocks and a wide face. His left arm has an intricately tattooed with skulls and a red pattern. He wears an indigo shirt with black pants and a headband with his Jolly Roger on it in a repeating pattern. All this money is mine now, Roshio mocked as he placed his hand over the stack of bully. This is just small change, but that doesn't matter. You can come back next time and I'll play you again. Roshio smirked at the man he was mocked as he tightened his hand and began to lift the money of the table. As he lifted his hand, he saw a quick movement from the man across the table and felt a knife pierce his hand. The man sitting across from him began to laugh as Roshio screamed in pain as his hand was pinned to the table. You cheated just then, didn't you? The man accused. What did you say? Roshio screamed through the pain. Don't try to cause trouble because you lost. When do you think I did that? You did. You cheated, the man accused again with a dark look on his face. Hey, who does that kid think he's messing with? A man in the bar yelled. That game looked perfectly legit. Never mind that, another man said to the first. That's Bellamy the hyena. Although he may be young, he already has a bounty of over 50 million bully on his head. Bellamy is a tall man with tan skin and short, unkempt blonde hair. He wears white pants, a green sash with markings, and a pink sleeveless shirt with a navy blue pirate captain's coat over it. Sarkis, Bellamy barked out at the man sitting at the bar. Sarkis. Huh, what is it? The man asked. Sarkis has wavy, shoulder-length blue hair and wears a purple-tinted visor over his eyes. He also wears a white furred coat over his bare chest in addition to golden chains that are either a necklace or a clasp. He has red and white striped gloves and pants with the same pattern alongside a gold belt. You saw it to right? Bellamy asked. This guy cheated. Cheated? Sarkis questioned. Oh, yeah, he cheated. You bastards are talking shit, Roshio yelled out. It seems you don't know who I am. As Roshio rose to his feet and pulled his hand off the table with the knife still in it ready to fight, a shocked look appeared on his face. Bellamy had quickly pulled another blade out of his coat as well as a gun that he had pointed at Roshio's face. A second later, a gunshot was heard and, unseen to the people in the room, Roshio was sent flying out of the bar they were in and bled to death in the street. With the straw hats. Looks like there are all kinds of people here, Luffy stated as he got off the deck of the Going Merry with Zoro behind him. It seems like quite a fun place, Zoro replied with a smirk on his face. Damn it, we can't let this happen, Nami muttered from next to Usopp as the pair of them watched Luffy and Zoro begin to walk off. It's impossible for those two to not cause any trouble. Yeah, this city already has enough troublemakers, Usopp replied as he looked around. In that case, I can't allow them to enter the city alone, Nami yelled as she jumped off the ship and chased after the pair. Wait, Luffy, Zoro. Ah, Nami, Luffy said as the orange-haired navigator caught up to them. I'm surprised you got off the ship. I need you to promise me something, Nami stated as she looked at the pair. What is it? Zoro asked, feeling as if he would regret it. That you won't fight with anyone in this city, Nami replied. Fine, I promise not to fight anyone in this city, Luffy replied as Zoro nodded next to him. It's not like I was looking for one. You mean it? Nami asked in surprise. Yeah, the pair answered as they continued to walk through Mock Town. As they walked through the town, they began to notice a group of strange people. It started with a sickly man who fell off his horse and was handing out apples. They ignored the man as he offered them apples only for his horse to collapse as well. As they walked away from the man, they heard an explosion ring out and the shouts of how a man exploded after eating an apple given to him by the sick man. The next man they saw was dressed like a luchador and was bragging about being the fighting champion of Jaya. Zoro and Luffy resisted showing the strange man up and continued to walk forwards. The trio soon walked into a hotel only to be greeted by the owner, who quickly tried to kick them out while ignoring their question. As the trio turned around to leave, they were met by a man and a woman who mocked them for their clothes and threw money at them while laughing. Nami dragged Luffy and Zoro away before the trio lashed out, and they were soon sitting in a bar trying to gather the needed information. Nami sat at the bar with Luffy, and Zoro as a large hairy man sat next to Luffy. The navigator was questioning the bartender about Jaya before she was interrupted by the large man and Luffy. The pair had ordered the exact same thing, a cherry pie and soda. As they finished the pie, they both yelled for the bartender. "This pie is delicious," the large man yelled. "This pie is disgusting," Luffy yelled at the same time before looking at the big man and drinking his soda at the same time as the large man. "This soda is delicious," Luffy praised with a smile. "This is the worst soda I've ever drunk," the man shouted. Nami had to sweat drop as the pair glared at each other and then began to try and outdo each other. Luffy would order 50 pieces of meat, then the other man would order 51 cherry pies. This continued until Luffy stood up and slammed his foot onto the stool as he glared at the large man. "What's your problem?" the pair yelled at the same time. "Do you want to fight?" "How did this turn hostile?" Zoro questioned in shock. "Remember what you promised," Nami yelled at her captain. "And we're not carrying enough money anyway." "You're a pirate?" the man questioned as he continued to glare at Luffy. "That's right," Luffy yelled back. "Bounty?" the man asked. 80 million, Luffy replied, not missing the small smirk that appeared on the man's face. 80 million? Yeah, the man laughed. "You're lying." "I'm not lying. It's true," Luffy shouted back. "Don't fight here," the bartender yelled as he handed over a large bag to the big man. "Take this and leave. There's 50 cherry pies in there." HMPH, the man sighed as he turned around and walked out of the bar. "Is there a pirate with a straw hat in here?" Bellamy asked as he kicked open the door to the bar. "It's Bellamy," a man screamed out in fear. HMPH. "So you're the supposed 80 million bully boy," Bellamy stated as he looked at Luffy. "Straw hat, Luffy." "What is it?" Luffy asked as he leant back on the bar. "Looks like you're popular today," Zoro stated with a smirk. "Give me a glass of your best wine and the kid whatever he wants," Bellamy stated as he walked up to the bar. "All right," the bartender replied. "It's those guys from the hotel," Nami muttered to Zoro as the swordsman nodded at her. "It's stinky, dirty and nasty in here," Sarkis said in disgust. "This place is packed." "Let's go," a pirate stated as he noticed Sarkis pull out a large knife. "That's big knife, Sarkis, worth 48 million bully." "Here," the bartender stated as he placed a glass of wine in front of Bellamy and a glass of rum in front of Luffy. "Sorry to keep you waiting." "Here, let's drink," Bellamy stated with a smirk on his face. "Ah, thanks," Luffy replied as he lifted the glass to his mouth. "You're a good guy after all." "Luffy," Zoro shouted as he drew Wado Ikamanji. Luffy's smirk turned into a full smile as he concentrated on his newly gained powers when he felt Bellamy move his hand behind his head. Bellamy went to push Luffy's head into the bar only to let out a shock gasp and have to pull his hand back as it went straight through Luffy's head. As he pulled his hand back, he noticed the darkness swirling around Luffy, reforming the boy's head. "You're lucky. I promised that I wouldn't fight," Luffy told Bellamy as he drank his rum. "Damn it," Nami yelled as she turned around and looked at the bartender. "Excuse me, do you know anything about a sky island? We want to go there." The whole bar froze at the navigator's word as they looked at each other, bursting out into laughter. They began to mock the trio as they stood in front of the bar, and Bellamy looked at them in disappointment. "I can't take it anymore. What kind of backwater country are you from? I can't believe you actually believe in the myth of the Sky Island. What age are you people from? The mysterious currents of the Grand Line are being solved one by one. The knock-up stream is just one of them," Bellamy mocked the trio. "Heh. And let me guess, you haven't even heard of it. The victims of the stream are knocked up into the sky and then sent crashing down. Long ago, sailors believed these ships were falling from sky islands. That's impossible. All phenomenons have an explanation. All dreams can be explained." Nami's mouth opened in shock as she looked at the man mocking them. She looked to Zoro and Luffy and noticed the pair's hands had gone white from gripping their blades so hard. She was happy the duo lived up to their words about not fighting, but felt that they could break their word now and put the man in front of them down. "I can't believe this. I was going to test you and see if you would join my crew of the new era. I was right in believing that poster was fake. You're nothing but a dreamer," Bellamy mocked. "Listen up. The pirates' dream era is over. The lost city of gold, the Emerald City, the great treasure of One Piece. The ones who chase their dream treasures cannot notice what's right in front of them. In this era, the ones who don't have strength are the ones who die by their imagination. In the end, this is how the world will judge all the idiots who died for their dreams." Luffy smirked as the man charged him once again and swung a broken bottle at him. He let the bottle go straight through his body as Zoro began to unsheath his swords. Luffy shook his head at the swordsman, who understood what his captain wanted as Nami screamed at them to fight. Luffy allowed Bellamy to punch him in the face as he stood tall. The people in the bar began to throw bottles at them as Bellamy smirked and laughed. The man began to lay into the pair as Nami screamed at them to break their promise and fight. It wasn't long before the pair of them had blood running from their noses and small cuts on their torsos. "I knew you weren't worth 80 million, Bellamy mocked as he spat wine all over the pair. "I thought you would have at least some backbone, you chicken shit." Bellamy smirked as he lifted his leg and kicked Zoro in the head as someone from his crew slammed Luffy's head into a wall. The bar continued to laugh at the pair as Bellamy and his crew laid into the duo, who refused to fight back. "Hey, woman, how much do I have to pay to get you to come over here?" Sarkis asked with a giant smirk. I'm sorry. For me to join a group of small fries like you will be a waste of my talents, Nami replied. Ah, so you're expensive, Sarkis laughed. Get these two out of here, Bellamy told Nami as he spat at them, and don't come back or I'll finish them off. Nami grabbed the pair and dragged them out of the bar as she noticed the large man from before sitting outside of the bar. Sky Island does exist, the man told them as he continued to eat his pie. You're the man from before, Nami said in confusion. Zahaha, the cherry pies here are the best, the man replied. But why are you still angry? Your friends won that battle. Zoro, Luffy, Nami muttered as the pair stood up. The new age those guys were talking about. It's all bullshit, the man stated, saying that the days of dreaming is over. Zahaha, a man's dream will never die. Luffy nodded at the strange man as the people walking through the streets stopped to look at them. They were confused as to why the man was yelling such things. Let them laugh. Anybody who wants to be a first-rate man will encounter a time when there is no reason to fight back, the man yelled out. Let's go, Zoro stated as he turned around. Luffy, Nami muttered in worry as she looked at her captain. Oh, it looks like I'm in your way. Are you in a hurry? The man asked as he stood up. It would be great if you could get there, to Sky Island. Hey, he probably knows something about Sky Island, Nami stated as Zoro and Luffy began to walk away. Dunno, Luffy replied, but it's not he. Not he, Nami said in confusion. Then what? It's they, Zoro stated. He has companions, Nami asked as she walked behind the pair. Going merry. Those wounds, Usopp yelled in shock and fear. Who could give you two that kind of damage? Nami, Swan, are you all right? Sanji shouted out in worry for the navigator. Dr. Chopper screamed, we need a doctor. You are a doctor, Usopp deadpanned as Chopper calmed down. Don't worry about it, Luffy told them as he jumped onto the deck. It was just pirates. I still think you should have fought back, Nami grumbled in annoyance. You were the one who told us not to get into fights, Zoro replied as Nami rounded on him. That was in the past, Nami yelled as she rounded on Zoro. If you bring that up again, I'll kill you. Did you find anything out about Sky Island? Chopper questioned innocently as Nami began to glare at him. Sky Island? I don't even care anymore. When I mentioned it at the bar, everybody just laughed, Nami growled out. Is everything I say funny? Is it because I say it? Defense point, Chopper muttered. Desperation attack. Catch up, Star, Usopp muttered as he laid down and pretended to be dead. Ah, it sounds like there's quite a big fight going on, Robin stated as she walked onto the Going Merry. Ah, Robin Swan, do you want your bath or food first? Sanji yelled out with hearts in his eyes. Nami roared as she rounded on the other woman. This is all your fault for mentioning Sky Island. Here, Robin said as she handed Luffy a map. What's this? The pirate asked. A map of the island, Robin replied. The X mark is on the other side of the island and supposedly houses someone we should meet. A little while later, there's a lot of weird people around here, Luffy said as he stood next to Sanji at the front of the ship. Do you think there will be trouble? Usopp yelled from behind the mast. Hey, you there, a monkey-like man shouted from the ship in front of them. Stop chatting like we aren't here. Huh, Luffy said as he noticed the monkey figurehead. That's so cool. Geez, and I thought you were someone dangerous, the monkey man stated. It was leaving me on edge. Huh, why does your face look like a monkey? Luffy asked. What species are you? I'm a human, you punk, the man shouted back. It seems like you guys are pirates. Did you know that Crocodile recently lost his seat in the Shichibukai, and if they're going off real strength, I'll take that seat. So, you want to be a Shichibukai? Luffy asked as he stared at the strange man. You're probably wondering what's special about me, the man questioned. Well, I'll let you know. Ever since my birth I haven't cut my hair. You're an idiot, Luffy replied. Ah, you surprised me, the man stated in shock. That response made me edgy. Remember this phase. Passing through the tunnel called my fury will result in a bath of blood. Head out of our way, Luffy yelled in frustration. You stupid idiot. This sea is a part of my territory, and if you want to pass you'll have to pay the toll, the man shouted in anger. This guy sounds like Marisa, Usopp stated as the monkey man turned his attention to the sniper. You know him, the monkey yelled out. Yeah, we meet him on the way here, Usopp replied. What happened to him? The man asked. We kicked him away, Luffy replied as he began to glare at the other captain. You what? The man yelled. I'll avenge him. Stop, Luffy whispered as he released a burst of Heishoku Haki and the man fell to the ground. We're going. Captain Shouju, the monkey's men yelled out in worry as the straw hats began to sail away. What happened? I don't know, the monkey man muttered. Shouju is a large man who looks like an orangutan with long green hair. He wears a black button-up shirt that is too small for his body, showing off his hairy torso, a green captain's coat with his arms in the sleeves, and a green captain's hat with his personal Jolly Roger on the front. He also wears a belt that has the kanji for forest engraved upon it. Due to not having cut his hair in 25 years, his hair is so long that its entire length is almost as long as Shouju's entire body height. Later, this is the place on the map, Nami informed them. What's this guy's name? Mont Blanc, Cricket, Robin replied as she looked at the site before her. The man who got exiled due to his dreams, Nami muttered. That's so cool, Luffy yelled as they looked the castle in front of them. You idiots, Zoro muttered. The man who lies, Sanji stated. Take a closer look at it. What do you mean? Chopper asked as his innocence shined through. It's aboard, Luffy stated as he got a closer look at it. He only has a small house, Chopper said in surprise as he looked at the small building. He was hiding this behind the cardboard. What dreams got him exiled? Nami questioned Robin as they all got off the ship. I don't know all the details, but he talked about a large amount of gold hidden here on Jair. Robin told them all as Nami's eyes turned into bully signs. Luffy ignored the orange-haired navigator as she ordered the doctor and sniper of the crew to dig up the ground beneath them. He knocked on the door of the house and opened it as he walked inside and looked around with Sanji following close behind him. With a quick scan of the house, they nodded at each other and walked back outside as Nami found a picture book. King of the Liars, Noland. Nami read off the cover. That brings back memories, Sanji admitted as he lit up another cigarette. You know of this book? Nami asked as Sanji nodded. But it's from the North Blue. That's where I was born, Sanji replied with a dark look in his eyes. I thought I told you guys. This is the first time I'm hearing about it, Usopp told him. This book is really popular with kids in the North Blue. But it was supposedly a true story, Sanji told them all. The crew stopped and listened as Nami began to read from the book. It took place long ago in the North Blue and was about the explorer Mont Blanc Noland, a man with such tales that the people didn't know if they were real or lies. After one of his adventures, the man reported back to the king that he had found an island of gold. And the king, wanting to see the island himself, commanded 2,000 men to join them. The king and his men sailed dangerous seas and battled giant monsters to find the island of gold. When they finally found the island, they had lost many of their men and only saw a jungle on the island. Noland was blamed for the death of the king's men and was sentenced to death. His last words were, I know the island must have sunk into the sea. After that day, no one believed the tales that Noland once told, and after his last words, his head was removed from his body. As Luffy listened to the story, his Kenbenshoku haki flared to life and let him know about the man emerging from the water near them. He watched as the man jumped out of the water and began to glare at them. What the hell are you doing here? The man yelled as he took a fighting stance. You punks have a lot of guts to enter a man's house without his permission. This is my territory after all, and I know you're after the gold. The man that emerged from the water is a muscular, middle-aged man with blonde hair. He has a large chestnut on his head which he inherited from his ancestor, Noland. He wears dark purple tracksuit pants with a white stripe running along each leg, and a rope around his waist. He does not generally wear a shirt, nor shoes, due to his continuous diving explorations. On his left arm, Cricket has a tattoo of a chestnut with the word maroon written across it. The man rushed at Sanji in speed that surprised the young cook. Cricket attempted to kick Sanji in the head only for the cook to dodge. Not wanting to fight back, Sanji continued to dodge and counter the kicks and punches that the man attempted to hit him with. Sanji's eyes widened as he noticed the pointed at him and was to bend backwards to dodge the bullet the man fired at him. As Zoro noticed the man getting ready to fire another bullet, her unsheathed Wado Ikemanji and began to rush at the man before his eyes widened and he watched the man collapse to the ground. Dr. Chopper yelled in shock, "We need a doctor." "That would be you, Mr. Doctor," Robin yelled as Chopper rushed over to the man and began to check him over. It wasn't long before Chopper realized that the man had dysbarism and ordered the other members of the crew to take him inside. It didn't take long for Chopper to begin his treatment of the man as he informed the rest of the crew of how the disease is contracted. As he helped heal, the man shouted was heard outside, and it wasn't long before the two monkey men from before burst into the house worrying about their boss. The two men's face turned pale as they noticed the people in the house. Fearing their boss's life, they got ready to fight before Luffy informed them that they were helping. The two monkey men broke out crying at those words as they thanked the Straw Hats. It wasn't long after that Cricket woke up and Chopper allowed them to visit the man. Diamond Head, Luffy stated as he looked at the man. "There's something I want to ask you." "What do you want to ask me?" Cricket replied as he lit up a cigarette. "We want to get to Sky Island," Luffy told them. "Do you know how?" "Jai ha ha. You guys actually believe that's real?" Cricket laughed as Usopp held Nami back. "We want to find out. Why do you think it doesn't exist?" Luffy replied. "I don't know if it does, but I know a man who said it did," Cricket told them. "He was known as a great lair though, someone who was always laughed at." "Don't look at me," Usopp yelled as all the Straw Hats looked at him. "My ancestor, Mont Blanc Noland," Cricket stated. "Your ancestor?" Nami yelled in surprise. With that, Cricket began to tell the crew about his life and the life of his family. Noland was Cricket's great-great-great-grandfather. He told them about the whole family was exiled and even to this day shamed by the actions of his ancestor. He surprised the crew by telling them that no one blamed Noland as he was a very honest man that wouldn't lie. He told them about how the man died with tear flowing from his eyes and not a smile. As soon as Usopp asked the man if he was attempting to follow in Noland's footsteps, Cricket drew his pistol and pointed it at the sniper. He told them that his ancestor had nothing to do with him and how he was mocked for having that surname for his entire childhood. He told them that many of his family had ended up at Jaya in an attempt to find the city of gold but had failed. But for him, he became ashamed and run away from his family and became a pirate. He told them about how 10 years ago, after a series of events, he arrived in Jaya and decided to finish it. He decided that there was no way to escape his destiny and decided to stay on Jaya as his crew left him. After they left, he spent every day searching the waters around Jaya for evidence of the City of Gold. After he finished his story, he handed them Noland's log and left the house as the Straw Hats listened to Nami read the log. It seemed there was plenty of evidence that fell from the sky that proved the existence of a Sky Island, including a thing called a waiver. As the crew discussed how to get to Sky Island, Cricket was talking with the Masira and Xiaoju on how they would help them get to the Sky Island, so the crew doesn't kill themselves. Cricket called out Luffy to talk to about how to get to the Sky Island as Nami and Usopp began to follow him outside. Cricket began to tell them about the strange phenomenon around Jaya, how during the day, night would sometimes come with giants. Cricket told them that strange darkness was caused by a very dense cloud, a cloud that doesn't descend or rain, but when it appears it blocks out the sun. That is where he believed the Sky Island would be, and there was only one way to get up there. A stream called the Knock-Up Stream would blow them up to the cloud, but they had to time it perfectly. They would have to find a knock-up stream that was directly under the cloud for them to get to Sky Island. "We'll do it," Luffy stated as Nami and Usopp went white. "But your ship won't be able to handle the stream," Cricket informed them. "So allow me, Xiaoju and Masira, to fix you ship." "Thanks for the help," Luffy told him as the man began to walk away from them. That night, the Straw Hats had been partying with the trio before Cricket began to show him some of the gold he had found in the water nearby. That was before he swore and rushed them out of the house and into the forest to the south to find a south bird that would lead them to the Knock-Up Stream. As the Straw Hats rushed from the house, none of them noticed the sails of a pirate ship on the horizon. The Straw Hats entered the dark forest and tried to make sense of the clues that the old man had told them. They would find the south bird by listening for a strange chirping. They knew what the bird looked like due to the gold statue that Cricket had shown them at the house. It didn't take long for them to hear the strange noise as they looked around the forest and tried to locate its source. The crew broke up in small teams to scour the forest, only to be met with unexpected resistance in the form of the animals from the forest. The first team, that consisted of Sanji, Nami and Usopp, were swarmed by all kinds of bugs. The panicked Sanji and Nami was quite funny to the normally cowardly Usopp, who simply picked up one of the spiders and let it roam over his body. The second team of Zoro and Robin quickly worked their way through the forest due to Zoro cutting through any animals that got in their way. The partnership was filled with unease due to the distrust that Zoro held for Robin and his annoyance of her continuously correcting their place. The third team of Luffy and Chopper were just having fun while walking through the forest. Chopper was enjoying talking to the animals, and Luffy was enjoying looking at the different kinds of bugs that called the forest their home. Anytime an animal stepped out of line and tried to attack them, Luffy would simply use a burst of his haki to scare them away as they continued to hear the strange noise they were trying to find. It didn't take long for the crew to end up back at the start of the jungle, as they were either forced away by the animals or followed the strange noise. They huddled together as they began to be surrounded by animals. Luffy's continuous bursts of haki scared them off, but new animals always appeared in their place. That was until they heard a mocking cry. Robin smirked at the bird and crossed her arms as the south bird continued to mock them about never being able to catch him. The mocking cries were cut off as arms appeared out of the tree branch it was on and wrapped around it. The bird was tossed down to one of the nets the Straw Hats were holding, and the crew left the forest with a smirk or smile on their faces. They were greeted with a gruesome sight as they arrived back at the house to see the Going Merry broken in half and the three men that were helping them bleeding on the ground. As they rushed to their aid to find out what was happening and help heal their injuries, Nami noticed that the gold was gone. Zoro noticed a painted smile with a cross through it that they had seen before. "It's Bellamy's symbol," Nami screamed in shock as she noticed the same mark. "Do you want my help?" Zoro asked his captain. "I can do it alone," Luffy replied. "No way, Luffy. Quit kidding around. We have 3 hours until dawn," Nami yelled out at him. "Can I run along the beach and reach the town?" Luffy asked Robin. "Yes, you can," the woman replied. "Hey kid, where are you going?" Cricket yelled out. "Don't mind my business, you already know. If you want to stop him, you'll have to use this," Zoro told the man as he held out Wado Ikemanji. "I'll be back before dawn," Luffy told the crew as he took off running for Mock Town. Mock Town. A pirate stood on the pier pissing off it into the sea as he laughed at what had happened during the day and wondered why there was no god of rum. As he pissed, a news coup dropped a paper off behind him. The man finished his piss and turned around as he opened the paper and noticed it was full of bounties. As his eyes scanned the bounties, his eyes went wide in shock as 2 faces stood out. The man grabbed the posters and the one behind it as he ran through the town and kicked the door open to the bar that he had last seen Bellamy in. "Big discovery," the man yelled out. "What's up this late at night?" one of the pirates in the bar asked. "The person who was here during the day," the man started before he noticed Bellamy. "You should run away, you will get killed." "What are you saying?" "Someone will kill me," Bellamy asked in a mocking tone. "Look at these," the man yelled as he slammed the 3 posters down on the table. "Straw Hat Luffy, wanted dead or alive for 180 million billion. Pirate Hunter Zoro, Wanted dead or alive for 100 million billion. Blackleg Sanji. Wanted dead or alive for 60 million billion. These 3 men are on this island, a man yelled out in fear. What do we do? Another yelled. Look at that one's face, a pirate laughed. Bellamy's bounty is only 55 million billion, a pirate screamed. Bunch of idiots, how can a piece of paper get you so scared? Bellamy asked. You've seen him in person, you've never heard about pirates like this in the past, making fake bounties to make themselves look strong. An opponent would be too afraid to do anything, but if they actually fought they would win. Bellamy, where are you? The bar heard a familiar voice roar out from the streets, calling out for me like that. Bellamy laughed as he began to walk out of the bar. We were just talking about you, do you have something to say to me? Give the diamond head guy his gold back, Luffy demanded as he jumped down to the streets and stood across from the man. Gold? Bellamy asked with a smirk. Ah, that cricket guy's treasure. Luffy watched as Bellamy's legs turned into springs and the man launched at him. With a call of spring snipe, the man launched himself at Luffy. The straw hat wearing boy stepped to the side and let Bellamy rush past him as he watched the man turn himself around and shoot back at him. Every time Bellamy got close to Luffy, the boy simply dodged before Bellamy got frustrated and roared out, Spring Hopper. Your friends, haha, the old man and those monkey idiots. They're idiots who believe in a 400-year-old lie made by bluffing idiots. Haha, the man mocked as he continued to bounce off the buildings. Golden City, Sky Island. The day for daydreams are over and people like you are the shame of pirates. You're probably wondering if I can throw a punch, Luffy muttered as his eyes darkened. Farewell, Straw Hat Kiddo, Bellamy mocked as he shot straight at Luffy. Luffy lifted his right arm as Bellamy closed in on him. The man had a large smirk on his face as he prepared to shoot straight through Luffy's chest, only for Luffy to bring his fist down. Luffy's punch connected with Bellamy's face and caused the man's face to cave in and leave a fist mark as the man hit the ground, and the pirates let out a shocked gasp. Hey, quit kidding around, Bellamy Sarkis yelled out. Are you trying to play with us or something? Get up, you're the super rookie Bellamy. Give me the gold, Luffy ordered as the men and women around him recoiled in fear. The people around them began to flee as Bellamy's crew rushed over to the man. Luffy ignored the group and walked into the bar that they were in and found the gold sitting on a table. With a smile, the boy put it into a nearby bag and left the bar as Bellamy's crew glared at him. Hey, you, where are you going? We won't lose to fantasy-chasing idiots, Sarkis yelled out as Luffy walked away from him. Where are you going? Up, Luffy said simply as he walked away from the crew, to the sky. It wasn't long after Luffy left the town that the man that the Straw Hats meet easier returned to the scene of the fight. The man, hearing about the bounty that Luffy and Zoro possessed, broke out into laughter as he slammed one of Bellamy's crewmates' heat into the ground. 180 million, that'll do, zahaha, the man laughed as he was joined by 3 other men. With the Straw Hats, I'm back, Luffy yelled as he rushed towards his crew. Here's your gold. As Luffy handed over the gold, he noticed the fix going merry with the modifications made to it. His eyes widened as he noticed that the ship now looked like a chicken. He shrugged his shoulder as he looked at Cricket, who was having a smoke and staring at the boy. Hurry up and get on the ship. There's no time, the man growled out. You want to give up your chance at going to Sky Island, fool? Thanks for the ship, Luffy told the man as he jumped aboard the Going Merry. I'll make sure to find a way to let you know if it exists. That's true, Romance, the older man replied with a smirk. Good luck. On Buggy's ship in the Grand Line. The Buggy Pirates were currently throwing a large party as they made plans to take Luffy for his bounty. The group were having so much fun that they didn't even notice a man board the ship and begin to eat their food as they continued planning Luffy's capture. Stop being so noisy, Alvida told them all. We don't even know where Luffy is, so how do you plan to catch him? Don't worry so much, Alvida, Buggy yelled out. Just have some fun. If you want to meet Luffy, let me give you some information, the man that boarded their ship stated. Look, this guy will tell. Buggy started before he looked at the man. Who the hell are you? Sorry for disrupting your party, the man said as he bowed his head. I was attracted by the very strong and sweet scent. My name is Ace. No, you're too polite, the pirates yelled out in shock. I was asking who the hell you are, Buggy growled as he got in Ace's face. I don't care what your name is, guy with the overly inflated ego. Captain, this guy is Fire Fist, a pirate yelled out in shock. Whitebeard's 2nd Division commander. Whitebeard, Buggy yelled in shock. Oh, you know our old man. Ace started before he fell asleep. He fell asleep, the crew yelled in shock. This is our chance. We can kill Ace and reach glory, a member yelled out. No, Buggy roared out. Remember this, all of you, do not fight against Whitebeard's men. That man is the only one who died in a fight against the Pirate King. Without a doubt, he is currently the strongest man in the world. He is the closest man to the One Piece, and the thing that Whitebeard despises most is his friends getting hurt. That is a death sentence. You seem like you know this man well, Alvida stated in surprise. Of course, I do. Back when I first entered the Grand Line, I meet him, head one, Buggy told his crew, much to their shock. Oh, so you know him personally, Ace asked in surprise. He woke up, Buggy screamed in fear. Let's get back to this party, Ace said. Yeah, it's a rare occasion, let's do it, Buggy yelled. Whitebeard's ship. He actually sent somebody to deliver a message, Whitebeard said in annoyance as he ripped the letter handed to him into pieces. Since when is that kid too good to come in person? Wait, please, wait. The boss said that letter is important, the man on the ship yelled out. He's the red hair. Are you for real? So, I'm Whitebeard, the larger pirate replied. Boss said there is important matters in there, the man cried out. I can guess what the content is about. Ace and Blackbeard. Tell that kid if he wants to talk, come here in person and bring some good rum, Whitebeard stated. Go back if you understand. I don't talk to snotty-nosed brats. With the straw hats, the water beneath them had turned wild as they sailed towards the large dark cloud. It seemed the knock-up stream was going to go off early and the crew had to get into place. They sailed through the wild waves before their eyes widened and they noticed a whirlpool nearby. That was where they had to be before the knock-up stream went off. As the sky became dark, the Going Merry began to be sucked into the whirlpool. As they reached the middle, the water lifted up to the normal level and the crew began to prepare to be shot up into the air. Zahaha, I finally caught you, straw hat brat, a man laughed as he sailed towards them. I've come for that 180 million billy head of yours. I got a new bounty, Luffy yelled back. There's a bounty work 180 million billy on your head. 100 million billy for Pirate Hunter Zoro and 60 million billy for Black Leg Sanji, the man yelled out as Usopp confirmed it with a laugh. Sanji's poster, the sniper, laughed. As the strange Mana and his small crew sailed towards the Going Merry, they noticed the water beneath the Straw Hat ship bulge before it shot off into the air. Their ship was trying to sail the knock-up stream as Nami began to bark out orders on how they were supposed to sail up into the air. It didn't take long for the sails to come down and catch the need wind as they shot through the air and into the cloud. On a winter island. Haha, that old man did not change one bit, Shanks laughed over the den mushy. This is not a joke, a voice yelled from the other side of the snail. I had thought it would turn out like this, Shanks admitted. Boss, give me some time. I have never been made fun of like this, the voice from the other side off the snail said. Oi, what do you want to do, Shanks asked. Just forget it and come back. But what about my pride, the man questioned. Your life is more important than your pride, Shanks told the man. It is beyond your ability. You have already worked hard on that task. What do we do now, boss? Lucky Roo questioned once Shanks hung up. Let's go prepare the ship, Shanks told them all. To Whitebeard, Lucky Roo asked. Yep, Shanks replied. If you do that, do you think the world government will continue its silence? Ben Beckman asked Shanks. Now's not the time for that discussion, Shanks stated as he stood up. The government won't keep its silence, but if they attack, neither will I. Can't breathe, Luffy thought as the Going Merry shot through the cloud. Luffy forced his eyes open as he and his crew shot through the cloud. It didn't take them long to fully make it out and shot through the sky. A smile appeared on the Straw Hat Boy's face as he realized what that meant. They had arrived at the Sky Island. That feeling was quickly replaced by panic as he heard Nami, Usopp, and Chopper scream. He quickly canned the area as he looked for any possible enemies before he realized they were screaming because the Going Merry was falling. The screaming ceased once the ship landed back on the cloud and kept afloat. Is everyone all right? Zoro asked once he stopped coughing and regained his breath. Hey, look outside the ship, you guys, Luffy yelled out with happiness in his voice. It's so white. Clouds. On top of the clouds, Nami yelled out in shock. How are we sailing on clouds? Of course, we can sail on top of it, Luffy told her without thinking. This is so cool. No, that's impossible, Sanji stated. Guys, Usopp isn't breathing. Someone do something, Chopper yelled out as he ran around the deck in fear. Wait, I'm a doctor. It didn't take long for Usopp to begin breathing again as the rest of the crew looked over the clouds they were sailing on. They still couldn't believe it. They had been shot through the sky and landed on a cloud that they could sail their ship on. So, this must be what they call the Sea of the Sky, Nami told the crew as she looked at the log pose. But the log pose is still pointing up. Maybe this is only the middle part of the Millennium Cumulonimbus, Robin replied as she took a seat. We need to go higher, Chopper asked in surprise. How? I have no idea, Nami sighed. For my first big adventure, I, Captain Usopp, will swim in the sky, the long-nosed boy yelled out in pride. Sniper-san, Robin cut in. How far do you plan to swim down? To the bottom, of course, Usopp replied with a smile. The bottom, Nami muttered as she looked at the boy. Are you stupid? The bottom of the cloud will send you back down to the sea. What? Usopp yelled in shock and fear as he rolled up into a ball. I would have died. Wow, you nearly died, Zoro told the sniper as he patted him on the back. Guys, Nami yelled out. Something's moving under us. Luffy quickly used his Kenbenshoku Haki and searched out around the ship. He felt a large creature moving around under the Going Merry. He realized that it was probably the cloud equivalent to the Sea Kings just before it emerged from the water. As it lifted on of its tentacles, Zoro jumped off the ship and drew Wado Ikamanji and easily seemed to cut through the tentacle as it burst like a balloon. The beast retreated to the water as a small fish shot out of its mouth and landed on Usopp. Usopp screamed out, "It's on my pants." Sanji walked over and grabbed weird-looking fish from the sniper as the long-nosed boy rolled back up into a ball and started to mutter about how Sky Island is scary. Sanji handed the fish off to the intrigued Robin as Usopp continued to have his breakdown. So, this is a skyfish. It seems like the strange creature described in Noland's diary, Robin stated as she looked the fish over. I don't think there's a seafloor in the sky ocean, and these fish have evolved into various different forms to survive. So, some became flat and some became like balloons, Zoro stated as Robin handed the fish to Luffy. Yes, all to make themselves lighter because the buoyant force here is much weaker than seawater, Robin replied. Their scales look like feathers, Nami noted, but the carnivorous mouth is weird. I saw it, the group of three heard as they looked at Sanji handing a plate to Luffy. This is delicious, Luffy yelled out after his first bite. We weren't done with that yet, Nami shouted at the pair in frustration as she grabbed the plate off Luffy and took a bite. It tastes really nice. I've never experienced this flavor. That's it. We'll find the big guy, Luffy yelled out with a smile. We'll cook him as well. Where's Sky Island? Chopper thought aloud as he spotted a ship in the binoculars. Oh, a ship? Hey everybody, there's a ship and a person, I think. As Chopper was watching the strange figure on the ship, he noticed the ship explode as the figure shoot through the sky and began to head towards the Going Merry. Hey, what is it, Chopper? The reindeer heard one of his crewmates ask. What? Chopper screamed out. Chopper, is there a ship over there? Nami asked as she looked at the doctor. No, there was a ship, Chopper replied, but the ship isn't there anymore. What do you mean? Zoro asked. There's a bull running on a rectangular cloud. It's charging from over here, Chopper yelled out. This is bad. I don't get it. Calm down, Zoro told the doctor. What's he trying to say? Sanji asked. We've got incoming, Luffy yelled as his Kenbenshoku haki flared to life. What? Sanji questioned before he felt a foot connect with his face. The masked figure that kicked Sanji in the face bounced off the cook and shot towards Zoro as the moss-haired man began to draw his swords. The figure delivered an elbow to the head of Zoro, quickly knocking the swordsman to the ground. The man then bounced towards Luffy and attempted to punch the Straw Hat Pirate in the stomach. The man let out a gasp of shock as his fist went straight through the boy's stomach. He jumped back and into the sky as he pulled out a bazooka. Hey, what's wrong with you guys? Nami asked as she noticed them struggling to breathe. That's enough, a man roared as he flew on a strange bird towards the masked figure. The Straw Hats watched in shock as an armor-clad man leapt off the strange bird with a spear in his hand. He thrust towards the masked man who pulled the shield off his back. The two strange men collided in the middle of the sky and pushed away from each other, with the armor-clad man landing on the railing of the Going Merry. What the? Who is it this time? Nami yelled out in shock. Oh, I'm the Sky Knight, the man replied as he looked over his shoulder. The Sky Knight is an old man of average height with long white hair, mustache, and beard, fitting to his title of a knight. He wears a metal armor with a dark red shirt and brown pants. He also has the knight's visor pulled up. He wears a long dark blue cloak that is yellow on the inside and at the back. The crew watched as the strange masked man seemed to look at the Sky Knight before grunting and taking off into the sky. The Sky Knight seemed to sigh in relief as he watched the retreating back of the masked man. What's going on? Who was that guy? Nami asked quickly before she turned to Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji. Also, you three were useless, 3-on-1, and you still lost. Thank you for saving us, Chopper told the Sky Knight as Nami continued yelling at the three men. Don't mention it. It couldn't be helped, the old man replied. This is a service. Tisk, this is so frustrating, Sanji growled out in annoyance as he sat up. It's like my body won't move as I command, Luffy muttered as he looked at Zoro, forcing himself to his feet. That's because the oxygen is scarce here, Robin told the trio. Ah, that makes sense. To be saying those words, the Sky Knight mused aloud. Are you citizens of the Blue Sea? What's that? Nami questioned in confusion. All living under the cloud are citizens of the Blue Seas, the old man told them. In other words, did you come up from the Blue Sea? We are, Luffy replied. It can't be helped then. This place is 7,000 meters above the Blue Seas, called the White Sea. Above this place is the White Sea at 10,000 meters. Average citizens of the Blue Seas won't be able to handle it, the Sky Knight informed the crew. I'm starting to get used to it, Luffy replied as he jumped up and down. Yep, it feels much better now, Zoro stated as he stood up. Lies, you're just faking, the Sky Knight said as he stared at the two. It can't be possible. That guy from before, how can he walk on the sky? Chopper asked the man. Wait a minute, you probably have a lot of questions, right? The Sky Knight asked. First things first, I need to talk business with you. I'm a freelance mercenary. This is a very dangerous part of the sea. Those who do not know about arrow battles will be attacked by guys like before and quickly become food for the fishes. So I'll give you a whistle and each blow will cost you 50 million extol, then I'll come and save you. What are you talking about, Mr. Luffy asked in confusion. Quit acting like a fool. The price is already very cheap, the old man barked out. If I keep lowering it, I won't even earn 1 extol. I won't be able to earn a living. That's why we're asking you what an extol is and what is that whistle thing, Sanji replied as he took a drag of his cigarette. No way, the Sky Knight muttered in disbelief. Didn't you guys come here through the top of High Waste? You must have been to 1 or 2 islands, right? I told you, we don't know what you're talking about, Luffy replied in annoyance. Wait, there are other ways to get to this sky ocean, Nami yelled out. Also, you said 1 or 2 islands, but isn't there only 1 sky island? What, you guys actually came up via that monstrous stream? The knight screamed out in shock and awe. I never thought there would still be people this brave. So, it wasn't the normal way to get in, Nami cried with her tears flowing. We're here anyway, Luffy told her. That's not the point. We almost died. If we patiently collected more information, we could have used a safer method, Nami shouted at the Straw Hat Boy. Yeah, the old man cut in as he addressed Luffy. Did you lose any crewmates? No, Luffy replied. Other routes are not like this. If 100 people want to go to the Sky Island through the other routes, it would be a gamble with no way to predict how many crewmates will live and reach the destination, the Sky Knight informed them all. However, the knock-up stream is more like everybody gets there or no one does. Either 0 or 100. Not many dare to make that gamble, especially these days. Those who dare, I see them as great sailors who have both courage and real strength. Yeah, but that's all because of me, Usopp told the old man after his sudden recovery. When these guys were crying and giving up, I told them that I would show them my navigation skills. One whistle. Blow this whistle once and I'll come down from the sky to save you, the Sky Knight told them as he threw the whistle onto the deck, using the currency of the sky. Each whistle would cost 50 million XTOL, but your whistle will be free as a gift to you. Use the whistle at any time to call me. Look at that bird, Chopper stated as he looked at the creature. The creature is a large pink bird with a red polka dot pattern on his body. He's solid red on the sides of his head, the back of his head, and on his horn-like ears. He has a tab face with a yellow beak. Ah, that's right, I forgot to introduce my partner. This is Pierre, the Sky Knight told them as the bird began to transform. Even though he's a bird, he has the power of the Uma Uma no Mai, which means he can become a winged horse, in other words, a Pegasus. That doesn't look right, the crew though, as they looked at the winged horse in front of them. Now in his hybrid bird-horse form, he transformed into a horse with wings that maintained the pink body with red polka dot design, but with white feathers. His face also elongates to that of a horse's. I wish you luck, heroes, the man screamed as he took off into the sky. In the end, he didn't really tell us anything, Robin stated. So now we're back at the starting point, Usopp complied. Then how do we get higher, Nami asked. Let's call the old man back and ask him, Luffy stated as he grabbed the whistle. Wait. Luffy, this is only for emergencies, Nami yelled out as she grabbed his arm and Usopp grabbed his head. If that weird masked figure comes again, what will we do without the whistle? Usopp screamed. Anyways, let's just get the ship moving, Zoro stated as he ignored the trio. Everybody, look over there, Chopper yelled as he looked through the binoculars. What's that? Robin asked the doctor. Looks like a waterfall. It is a weird cloud, right? Chopper asked as Robin nodded at him. Okay, it's decided, Luffy announced. Let's go check it out over there. Later, it didn't take long for Nami to get used to navigating the strange cloud as they made their way over to what looked like a waterfall cloud. They had come to a short roadblock when they couldn't go into a straight line due to a solid and bouncy cloud. That was soon fixed as Luffy and Chopper climbed to the top of the cloud and directed Nami how to get to where they were going. As they arrived at the bottom of the cloud, they noticed some sort of gate called Heaven's Gate at the bottom of the waterfall. It's really there, Chopper said in amazement. Plus, look, that waterfall-looking cloud is really a waterfall, Usopp yelled out. It seems to have clouds of different properties falling down. Heaven's Gate, Robin muttered as she looked at the sign. Bad omen. It's like we're going to die, Usopp started to mutter in shock. Yeah, it's totally unexpected. Maybe we're dead already, Zoro stated as he sat down. Really, Sanji questioned. If that's so, then this strange world can be explained. We're dead all right, Chopper screamed in shock. Heaven, so funny, Luffy laughed as he looked at the sign. We can finally get there through here. Look, somebody is coming out, Chopper shouted as he noticed an old lady walking out of the door. Are you here for sightseeing? Or here to fight? The old lady asked as she took photos of them. Actually, it doesn't matter why you're here. If you want to go up, each person must pay 1 billion XTOL as the entrance fee. That's the law. Angel, Luffy yelled out in surprise. So that's how angels look. She looks like dried sour fruit candy. 1 billion XTOL. How much is that when converted to Billy? Usopp asked with a sweat drop. If we, don't have any money, can we still go up? Nami asked. You can still go up, the old lady told them. Really? Usopp screamed in shock. Also, if you don't want to go up, that's okay, the lady stated. I'm not a guard, nor am I a Soliter. I just want to know your intentions. But we will go. We want to go to Sky Island, Luffy told her. Even though we don't have money, we'll go, Granny. Really? 7 people, right? The old lady asked. Yes, but how do we get up? Luffy asked before he felt something bump into the bottom of the Going Merry. What? Something's grabbed us, Usopp shouted in fear. That's the White Sea's special speedy shrimp, the old lady told them as they took off. Ah, it's moving, Nami yelled. It's climbing the waterfall, Chopper screamed. The waterfall's extending upwards, Luffy shouted in glee. Heaven's Gate Watcher Amazon reporting, the old lady said into a speaker. Almighty God and his priests, to those wanting to go to the god's country Skypia, to these 7 illegally entering traveling, I have given them Sky's judgment. How is this happening? Nami screamed out. The cloud is shaped like a long stripe, like a river. It really looks like something not naturally formed, Sanji yelled out. This thing was probably made artificially, right? Nami shouted back at the cook. There's something written on top, Usopp screamed as he noticed a sign. It's the exit, Luffy yelled with a large smile on his face. Godland. Skypia, Nami shouted over the wind as she read the sign. That's not an exit, it's an entrance. Most of the crew screamed in joy with large smiles on their faces as the shrimp beneath them let go of the Going Merry and the ship landed softly on the clouds. They looked around and all stared in wonder as they noticed the large island in front of them. That must be it, Usopp yelled out. That must be Sky Island. The crew quickly set about rowing the Going Merry to what seemed to be the shores of the island. They came to a stop when they bumped into what must have been a solid cloud. Zoro threw the anchor off the side of the ship as Luffy, Usopp, and Chopper jumped down to the shore. This is awesome, Luffy shouted with a large smile on his face. The surface is so soft. This scenery is really amazing, Zoro admitted from the ship. It's like a dream. Yup, also seeing their happy faces. Haha, they really can't help it, Sanji told the swordsman as he jumped from the ship with a large smile. You're the same as them, Zoro yelled at the cook in annoyance. Ouch, ouch, ouch. I'm sorry, Nami yelled out to the south bird that was pecking away at her head before it flew away. I forgot to let him go. There seems to be people living here, so it should survive, Zoro told her. And the anchor, Nami asked. I threw it off the side a while ago. Into that soft cloud, Zoro replied as he pointed at it. It seems to be the structural basis of the island. Hey, Robin called out to the pair, isn't Skypia? Yep, it's the same as the name that Luffy found on that map. That 200-year-old galleon, really same here. Before Nami replied to the other woman, I never would have thought that an island in the sky could exist. Robin smiled at the orange-haired navigator as Nami leapt of the ship and joined the crew on the cloud shore in laughter. Robin turned her head to the side and noticed the moss-haired swordsman staring at her. What about you? She asked as the man grunted. I'll go to, Zoro replied as he began to stand up. I never thought that sailing and landing could be so adventurous, Robin admitted to the swordsman as she watched the rest of the crew run around. Zoro grunted as he looked at her out of the side of his eye before he heard the voice of his captain. This place is full of the scent of adventure, Luffy roared with a large smile on his face. If we're up here, the Navy won't find us. We can finally relax, Nami said as she ignored her captain and stretched out. I can't remember the last time I had a beach vacation. That's because we always have to stop at man-made docks, Luffy replied as began looking at the trees. Look at these strange flowers, Sanji exclaimed in delight. This place seems to have plenty of changes to the environment. What about this strange fruit? Luffy yelled out as he jumped up and pulled one out of the tree before trying to take a bite of it. What's this? That hurt? Hey, Usopp, try this fruit. What fruit? Usopp replied as he turned to look at his captain before getting hit in the head by the fruit. Oh, that hurt. Hey, Chopper, what's that? Nami asked as she pointed to a roofed area. Let's go check it out, the reindeer replied as he ran towards the structure. Is this really a cloud? Zoro asked as he walked across it towards the crew. Wow, this chair is made of cloud, Nami sighed as she leant backwards. Is there a crafting technique they use to make these clouds? There has to be. It's a little different from that soft cloud, Chopper replied. It's a little hard. As the crew continued to play around on the shore, they heard a beautiful tone fill the air around them. As they looked around, Zoro noticed a small white animal sniffing the ground near him. Is that a fox? Zoro questioned as he looked at the strange creature. Hey, someone's over there, Sanji yelled as he pointed to the source of the noise. Is it another raider? Usopp asked in fear. Wait, it's not a raider, Sanji shouted as hearts filled his eyes. It's an angel. Angel, the crew questioned him as they noticed the woman with a harp. So the woman said to them as they looked at her in confusion. Are you guys from the Blue Seas? The woman asked as hearts formed in Sanji's eyes. Sue, come here. We flew up from there, Luffy replied as he looked at the woman. Do you live here? Yes, I live here. This is the Angel Beach of Skypia. Hey, that's a ganasu. Do you want to drink it? The woman informed them as she picked up the strange fruit that Luffy threw at Usopp. The exterior is like steel. Biting into it doesn't work, so you have to cut it. Enjoy. Luffy watched as the woman cut a small hole in the top of the strange fruit and placed a straw in it. She passed the fruit to him and he took a deep drink of it. As he swallowed the liquid, his eyes widened and he broke out into a smile. He couldn't believe how tasty the fruit was as he handed it over to Usopp to take a drink out of it. I'm Knis, the woman told them. If you have any problems, I'm willing to help you. Knis has blonde hair that she wears in 2 braided pigtails with 2 antennae sticking out the top of her head. She wears a pink dress with black, flower-shaped textures that goes down to her thighs. She also has on red and pink striped sandals that are white on the bottom. Yes, I have a problem. Your gaze burns a hole in my heart, Sanji stated as he stepped forwards only to be grabbed by the ear from Nami. Get out of here, Nami told him as she walked past him and let go of his ear. There is plenty we want to know. Firstly, everything up here is amazing. Yes, don't hold back. Ask anything, Knis told them kindly. Hey, Zoro called out. Something's coming from the sea. That's my dad, Knis said as she waved at the man. Knis, my daughter. So the man yelled as he rode over the clouds on a strange little boat. So, father, Knis yelled back to the man. What are you saying? Luffy asked in confusion. What's he riding on? Nami asked as she looked at the strange contraption. Ah, you mean the waver? Kines asked as the man started to come to a stop in front of them. Excuse me, I'm going to stop, the man yelled as he shot past Zoro and Sanji and straight into the tree behind them. Is anybody hurt? Ask yourself that first, Zoro barked out at the man. Luffy, didn't you recover something like that from under the ship? Nami asked. Yeah, I did, Luffy replied as he grabbed another of the fruits from before and cut it open. So that's what the fallen ship's dairy meant by waver, Nami stated. A ship that will sail without wind. Are they your friends? The old man asked. Kines, my daughter. Yes, I just meet them, father, Kines replied with a smile. They're from the Blue Sea. Really, they must be really anxious of things here then, the man said. This is the White Sea, pardon me. How Usopp grunted in confusion. I forgot to introduce myself, the man stated. I'm Pagaya, pardon me. Pagaya is a Skypian man of average height. He is almost bald but has the typical Skypian hair and antennae sticking out. He has a strange round beard covering his mouth. His antennas and beard are dark brown along with his eyebrows. He wears the typical Skypian robes. It is a brown-yellow one with a light yellow collar, and light yellow at the end of where the sleeves would be, if it had any. It also has a black leaf-like design. We're the ones who need to be excused, Usopp told the man. Good timing, I just finished fishing. I've caught the most delicious fish in the White Sea, Pagaya stated as he seemingly ignored Usopp's protests. They are the sky lobsters. Please come to my home. I'll treat you to the special sky cuisine. Let's go, Luffy replied with a large smile on his face. You're going to be making Sky Island cuisine, Sanji said with a happy look. I'll help you out. Before we go, can I ask you a question? Nami asked as she looked at the strange thing Pagaya was riding. How does this work? There's no sail, no paddle. How come it can still sail on the sea? Ah, you don't know what a dial is, Kines replied as she looked at the navigator as the old man walked over and picked up the strange boat and took it to the White Sea. Dials, the crew said in confusion. Let me show you, Pagaya told them as Luffy walked over to the strange boat. Get in, this is the accelerator. As the man continued to give his little speech, Luffy slowly pushed down on the accelerator and took off across the White Sea. The teen didn't get far as he felt the small boat begin to flip under him and took to the sky with Jeppo as he let his foot off the accelerator and carried the waver into the sky with him. He landed back on the beach and placed the waver back on the ground as the two Skypians Zoro looked at him in shock and disbelief. That's harder than it looks, Luffy stated with a small frown on his face. In order to fully utilize the power, the waver's hulls are made very light, so even the smallest wave will make it turn, Pagaya informed the group. Thus one must understand the sea very well, or at least be able to predict the waves. Please pardon me. Is it really hard? I wanted to try, Chopper asked sadly. I've been practicing since I was little, and I only just learned to use one, Kines told them. With training it only takes about 10 years to learn, Pagaya stated casually. That's a long time, Usopp yelled in shock. It would need a lot of focus and endurance. Hey, Nami shouted from what sounded like a distance as the group turned around and their jaws dropped in surprise. She did it, Usopp yelled out as everybody watched Nami easily use the waver. What? That's unbelievable, Pagaya shouted as he watched the woman. Nami Swan, you're the best, Sanji screamed out. Damn, she's talented, Luffy muttered as he watched the woman with a small smile on his face. Controlling this really requires a certain level of skills, Nami shouted at them. Careful observation is needed. Okay then, Nami, Luffy yelled back. We're going to Pagaya's house now. Are you coming with us? You guys go ahead, Nami shouted back. Can I stay out here for a little longer, Pagaya? Yes, please. Just be careful, Pagaya told her. It's like a dream. There actually exists a ship that can sail without wind. Would this work on the normal seas? Nami muttered to herself with a large smile. The one that Luffy bought back was broken for sure. I really wish we could fix it. She's really navigating that easily, Luffy stated as he watched the woman easily move the waver. Let's go, Zoro told his captain as he watched everybody walking away. You don't want to get lost. Wait, what? Luffy yelled as he looked at the swordsman as the pair of them began to follow the group. Don't be a smartass. Hey, there seems to be some sort of factory on the other side, Usopp yelled out to everyone. That's the cloud cutting factory, Pagaya told them. Cloud cutting factory? Usopp asked in confusion. The factory cuts the clouds into blocks to make them easier to use for construction, Pagaya stated. Clouds can be cut into blocks, Usopp replied in shock. Everything here is so illogical. Didn't you pass through the Milky Road to come here from the White Sea? Pagaya asked the group. Milky, Zoro questioned. Do you mean the cloud the shrimp carried us up? That's an artificial cloud channel. There are two types of natural clouds here. The kind that you sail your ship on is called the sea clouds, and the type you walk on is called the island cloud, Pagaya informed the pirates. So, they are mystery clouds that you can swim and sail on, Luffy replied. You could call them that. This is because the molecular makeup of the clouds here is different, Pagaya said. I heard there is a mineral called sea stone in the blue seas. So, there is sea stone in the clouds, Robin stated. Yes, that mineral contains a special substance that we call parapuroin, Pagaya informed them. It's a molecular substance that gets injected into the air by volcanic eruptions. When it comes into contact with water in the air, it creates sea and island clouds. Yeah, that's right. I used to play with that molecular substance when I was younger, Usopp bragged. How could you play with it? Sanji shouted in annoyance. Nonetheless, the Milky Road I mentioned earlier, as well as the chair made of clouds on the beach, were originally the island cloud produced from the cloud cutting factory. Then after some density manipulations, these artificial cloud products were made. Pagaya told the crew as they arrived at a house. This is my home, please come in now. Nice place, Sanji said to the man. The view is great. We can even see Nami's and the waver, Usopp stated as he watched the navigator move across the clouds. Sanji watched the navigator fly across the clouds on the waver as the rest of the crew went inside. He followed them soon after, only to see Luffy holding a strange shell and speaking into it. Usopp is stupid, Luffy spoke into the shell. Ah, why me? Usopp shouted from behind the captain. Hey, hi. Now, please press the button on top of the shell, Knis instructed Luffy. The top of the shell, Usopp muttered in confusion. Pressing it won't do anything. Wah, it's caved in, Luffy said in shock. It's soft here. Usopp is stupid. Why me? Hey, hi. Now please press that button, came out of the shell as the crew stared at it in shock. That's our voices, Usopp yelled out in surprise. It can record sound, Zoro said as he looked at the shell. So that's a dial. Yes, that's the tone dial, Knis replied. It records sound and then broadcasts it later. It's a special shell that's only in the White Sea. It's mainly used for recording music. That's amazing, Chopper said as he watched Usopp and Luffy play with the dial. But there's no bottom in the sea, Zoro stated. How can the dials be found there? We get them from the edge of the beach, Knis told him. If that is what a dial is, I can't understand how it can power a waver, Robin stated as she looked at the dial. This is not it. This is the waver's power source. Even though it's smaller, this is a wind dial. If you put it facing the wind for half an hour, then you'll get that much wind back, Knis explained as she showed them all the dial. The size of the storage is dependent on the size of the dial, but by placing it on the end of the ship, it can easily power it. So, it moves using the wind from this, Robin said as she held the small dial. So different wavers have different sizes on the dial. Yes, there are some wavers I can barely control. There are many different models, Knis replied. There are skateboards and ship ones as well. We have one, Luffy told Knis as she looked at him in surprise. But it's broken, Usopp said. Plus, it's been 200 years. There's no way it can still move. Not necessarily. The dial itself is a corpse, Knis told the pair. As long as the shell is not broken, then it will retain its power. So, it should work then, Luffy stated as the woman nodded at him. I guess these aren't the only two types of dials here. Yes, there are more, although not a direct form of resource. Skypia's culture is one that coexists with dial power, Knis explained. Other types of dials include the scent dial, the heat dial, and the image-storing video dial. That's so interesting, Chopper replied with stars in his eyes. Gosh, Sanji yelled from the kitchen. What is it, Pagaya asked the cook. I saw this cyan-colored sauce and taste it, Sanji told him as he looked disgusted at the sauce. And how do I put it? The taste is very strong, and I can't feel my tongue. It's gone bad already, Pagaya told the man. Pardon me. Don't keep stuff like that, Sanji shouted at the man as he threw it away. Sanji sounds like he's having fun, Luffy told Usopp as they waited for the food. He's probably already fallen in love with the Skypian food, Usopp replied as he noticed Sanji walked out of the kitchen with plates of food. Okay, it's finished, Sanji told them all with a smile. This is a Skypian special, with fruit, nutritious fruit, and sky seafood cuisine. It smells so good, Luffy stated as he stared at the food. Hey, where did Nami go? Sanji asked after he finished eating and looked for Nami. She should be at the sea, Usopp replied. No, she's not out there, Sanji told him as he continued to look. Then she probably went a bit further out, Luffy said as he continued to eat. Father, will it be alright? Knis asked her father with a worried look. Oh, Knis, my daughter, I have a bad feeling about this as well, Pagaya replied in a worried tone. What are you talking about? Luffy asked as he put down his food. In Skypia, there is one place where no one should ever enter. That place is very close to this island, Knis told them all. With a waver one can reach there very fast. They call it the Holy Land, where God lives. It's called Upper Yard. God is there? Luffy asked as he looked at the pair of Skypians. In a place that no one should ever enter. Yes, this is God's land and it is ruled by God, Enel, Knis replied. He's going to want to go there, Zoro. Sanji and Usopp muttered as they heard the woman's words. Alright, let's go find Nami, Luffy yelled as he stood up. Actually, we don't know if she actually went there, so please don't act recklessly, Knis told the teen. If we anger God Enel, this could become very problematic. By the way, you said you have a broken waver, Pagaya asked as the crew nodded at him. If it's not too much trouble, let me check it. I will repair it if I can. My father is a dial boat technician, Knis informed the crew. Really, thank you, Luffy replied with a large smile. With Nami, so huge. Where is this? Nami asked aloud as she looked at the giant trees in front of her. This is real land and the trees are gigantic. I wonder how old they are. I can't even see the top of them. Nami looked over the land that was in front of her. It shocked her to see such a large land mass in front of her with such large trees growing on it. Panic suddenly gripped the woman as she thought she heard something near her. I thought I saw something. Was it a person? Nami thought fearfully. It's time to go back. I don't like this place. It's probably better to leave this place. As Nami began to turn the waver around, the demon from before was standing right behind her with his bazooka pointed at her. Fear filled Nami's core as she began to hear sounds of battle coming from the island as well. The demon man jumped into the air with the bazooka and fired it towards the battle coming from the island. What was that? Nami screamed in fear as she noticed a bleeding man looking at her. Hey, help me, let me get on your boat. Ha, I beg you, the man screamed at her. I'll do anything to repay you if you want. But there is only one seat. Will you fit? Nami yelled back at the man. I don't know. Whoa, Raider, the man yelled as he saw the demon figure behind Nami. Nami felt it before she saw it. Electricity filled the air and power that she wasn't used to shook her core. A thick bar of lightning filled the air and struck down on the man, drilling straight through the ground beneath the man. Damn, is it Enel? The demon figure yelled out. He actually did that to Verth. Nami watched as the demon figure shot away from the land as quickly as he could. His voices filled the area around her. She quickly hid on the land when the voices got close enough to her. I think that person was talking to someone, a voice said. It was just a raider who got away. Just then a second voice stated. Woof woof, a large-sounding dog barked. Tell that dog to shut up, a third voice yelled at someone. That guy was begging for his life, right? But what was Enel-sama thinking? The first voice questioned. Why did he do it himself? Time was probably up, a fourth voice told them all. Next up, illegal trespassers have entered this country, the fourth voice told them all. We got Amazon's message. 7 citizens of the Blue Sea came up on a ship. 7 citizens of the Blue Seas. Do they mean us? Is it because we didn't pay the entry fee? Nami thought in shock as she overheard the conversation. Just for that we'll end up like that person earlier. Come to think of it, what was that earlier? Who are they and what is this place? Only 7, one of the voices questioned. That doesn't sound exciting. 7 heads isn't divisible by 4, one of the 4 people complained. After the 4 men exited the area, Nami quickly jumped onto her waver and shot off towards where the rest of the Straw Hats were. She knew that she had to warn everyone. She had to tell them all that they were all wanted criminals up here as well. With Luffy and Pagaya. This is really old, Pagaya told Luffy as he looked over the broken waver. Can you fix it? Luffy asked. I don't know. I cannot give you an answer until I open it up, Pagaya replied as he continued to look it over. Hey Luffy, let's go. Get aboard, Sandy yelled out from the Going Merry. Oh, Mister, what's that? Luffy asked as he saw a large group of people walking towards the beach. Pagaya grunted when he noticed the group. Who are they? Luffy asked as he noticed the look on Pagaya's face. Luffy watched as the whole group did an army crawl towards him in the ship. He let out a small chuckle as the group got close to them and the leader ordered the group to halt. The group stood up together and saluted at him, Pagaya and Kines. Hiso, the group's captain, said. Hiso, Kines and Pagaya replied. Why were they crawling like that? Sanji asked the crew on the ship. Dunno, maybe they are just peeping perverts, Usopp replied. So that's a pervert? Chopper asked innocently. This is why I was telling Luffy to get on board quickly, Usopp stated as he watched the group. Hey, Luffy, ignore them, Sanji shouted to his captain. Let's go get Nami. You are the Blue Sea citizens who illegally entered Skypia, the leader of the group yelled out as Pagaya and Kines looked shocked. Illegal trespassers, Pagaya yelled out. Oh, what's that? Luffy asked the group. There is no point denying it. We already received this from the Watcher of Heaven's Gate, Amazon, a man stated as he showed off a picture of the crew entering Skypia. It is a picture taken with a video dial. It can't be. It's not possible. There may be a mistake. Captain McKinley, Pagaya told the leader of the group. They're not bad guys. McKinley is a tall, tan man. He has black hair and wears a white berets hat. He has a small scar under his left eye, which goes diagonally downwards from his eye to his cheek. He also wears a light blue coat dropped over his shoulders and a short-sleeved purple shirt underneath. His pants have a cloud design and held up by a simple, brown belt. He also has black boots, and like all Skypians, he has a pair of small white wings on his back. What illegal trespassing? Sanji asked the crew. Is it about the 1 billion entrance fee that we didn't pay? Robin questioned as she watched the interaction. But that old lady said we could reply, Usopp stated in confusion. Please stop arguing. Just admit it, McKinley told Luffy. The situation is not serious enough to cause a panic. In Heaven's judgment, illegally trespassing is only a Class 11 crime. After the punishment, you will immediately become regular tourists. What? You should have said that earlier, Sanji yelled at the man. What is the punishment? It's very simply, just pay a fine that is 10 times the entrance fee, McKinley told the crew. Each person is 10 billion extol, which means 70 billion extol for 7 people. Pay now and your criminal status will be erased immediately. What? 70 billion extol? Usopp yelled in disbelief. How much is that in billy? Bully, that's the dollar value in the Blue Seas, McKinley replied as he looked at the ship. 10,000 extol is 1 billy. Which means how much? Usopp asked Robin. So, 70 billion extol would be 7 million billy, Robin told the crew. That's too much. With that much money you could literally buy us tons of rice, Sanji yelled at McKinley. We risked our lives to get here. Why do we have to pay that much money? If you had paid in the beginning it would have only been 700,000, Billy McKinley replied to the cook. That's still a lot, Usopp yelled at the man. Hey, forget it. Just ignore them, Sanji told the crew. Let's go get Nami Swan. She may be lost somewhere and crying right now. Oh no, somebody's there. Are they the people from before? Nami muttered to herself. Please don't do anything stupid, guys. I will give you a warning. We are the White Beret, direct servants of the high priests. If you continue to deny your criminal status will worsen, McKinley warned them all. Also this waiver, it looks broken. Then it's a class 10 crime, the one about citizens of the Blue Seas breaking properties in Skypia. No, excuse me. This was theirs to begin with, Pagaya told the man. Theirs. There shouldn't be waivers in the Blue Seas, McKinley stated as he turned to Luffy. If this was stolen from Skypia then it's a class 9 crime. It's ours, Luffy growled at the man in annoyance. Now stop trying to hand out fines. Please wait, the group heard Nami yelled out. Nami Swan, you're safe, Sanji shouted happily. Luffy, don't oppose those men, Nami told the captain. Don't oppose them, Usopp yelled in surprise. Hey Nami, can we afford to pay a fine of 7 million, Billy? Oh, so we just need to pay a fine. 7 million, Billy. A dark expression filled Nami's eyes as she uttered those last words and speed up the waiver, launching it straight at McKinley. That's too much. Luffy had to hold back his laughter as he watched Nami and the waiver collide with McKinley's head, shocking everybody on the beach as the man was launched backwards. He had to release a chuckle when he saw the surprised look on Nami's face once she realized what she had done. It's because of their illogically high price that I lost it, Nami told everybody. Oh mister, thanks for letting me use the waiver, it was very fun. No, don't mention it, Pagaya replied with a worried look. You guys are in a lot of trouble. Let's go now, Luffy, Nami yelled at her captain as she grabbed him and began to flee. Why, you just attacked him, Luffy asked as he ran next to her. If we mess with God it will be a pain, Nami replied fearfully. That hit back, there was just an accident. Hold it, McKinley yelled to the pair. There is no escape. Not only were you impolite to us, her actions have hindered our duty. That is a class 5 crime. With the power invested in me by God Enel, I sentence you to the drifting cloud. Drifting cloud, Knis screamed in shock. This can't be. What's a drifting cloud, Luffy asked Knis. It's a death penalty. You're put on a little piece of island cloud and drift in the sky until you die, Knis told him in fear for his life. I see. No wonder ships would fall from the empty sky, Robin stated once she heard that. What do you mean, Usopp asked in confusion. The galleon that fell from the sky probably had the same sentence given to the crew 200 years ago, Robin replied. Get them, McKinley roared as his squad drew their bows. Stop, Luffy ordered as he began to lightly release his Heishoku Haki, and the men fell to their knees. What was that? McKinley shouted in fear. Stay down, Luffy told him, or I'll have to hurt you all. You're a fool. It would have been fine if you just did as we said. The White Berets are the nicest law enforcement in God's land. They won't be so forgiving, McKinley muttered to them. With this you have become second-class criminals. No matter how much you scream or cry, ha, the priests of Upper Yard will personally judge you. Get out of here, Luffy growled as the men retreated. We were tricked, Nami screamed after the Berets had left. Didn't that old lady say, you can still go? But once we did it became illegal trespassing. This is fraud. How can they do it? That's true. Although we probably would have used force if she tried to stop us, Usopp replied. Shut up, Nami roared at the sniper. Anyways, now things are really complicated, Pagaya stated as he began to walk backwards with his daughter. If you're class 2 criminals, then we can't help you. Why are you so far away? Nami shouted as she noticed the distance between them. Oh well, it doesn't matter. We're already being chased by authorities, Luffy told them all. Also, why did you come back, Nami? Nami replied. We were about to come get you, Luffy told her with a sparkle in his eyes. Don't lie, Nami told him. You just wanted to go and see the island. We can't go there. There are some insanely terrifying guys there. We're going there anyways, Luffy told her. No, we're leaving the country, Nami replied in annoyance. How do we even leave this place, Usopp asked. We kept trying to get to Sky Island, but we never thought of a way back. Is there even a safe way back? With your current situation, there is no safe route back, but there is a way back to the Blue Sea, Knis told them all. You must go back down to the White Sea and then head to the far east. A place called Cloud's End. Cloud's End, Usopp asked. Yes, although I don't think you should run. Sky Ocean is too large, Knis said to them. What do you mean, Usopp asked. Are you saying we can't escape? If that's the way it is, then it's the same wherever we go, and if we stay here we will just cause you guys more trouble, Nami told them with a smile. Now that we have no place to hide, let's set sail. Knis, mister, thank you very much. Can we take the off from before, Luffy asked. Oh, of course, Pagaya replied with a smile. All right, Sanji, you're on lunchboxes, Luffy told the cook. Everyone else back up. Hold on, I have a request too. You're an engineer, right? Usopp asked the man who nodded at him. Can I have some tools and materials to fix the ship? Oh, no problem. Just come to my place again, Pagaya replied with a smile. Alright, Usopp, let's go, Luffy stated as they began to walk to the house. He's going to make us go there, Nami muttered in disbelief. He really doesn't understand how scary it really is then. Sounds fun, Zoro told her with a glint in his eyes. Chopper's on my side though, Nami yelled to the reindeer before a dark look appeared on her face. Right. Don't scare him, Zoro told the woman. You know it yourself, we're going there. At Pagea's place. You're the ship's carpenter, Pagea asked as he watched Usopp go through his toolbox. No really, I'm their sniper. Our ship doesn't have a carpenter yet, Usopp replied. But with my superior resourcefulness to fix everything they depend on me. It's a lot of pressure. If I'm gone the ship will sink. Even though I'm the sniper I do most of the captain duties. So everyone calls me captain. The way you place food is like art, Pagea told Sanji. Yes, placement is also very important. Oh, that's not right. Red should be here. These jade green beans should be here. Now it looks even more delicious, Sanji said to himself. This one is for Nami Swan and Robin Chan. It doesn't look like food anymore, Kines said in surprise as she looked at the box. I've never seen such a beautiful lunchbox. Really? Well, this one's for you, Kines-chan, Sanji told her as he handed over a lunchbox. Hey, for me, Kines replied in surprise. Of course, Sanji replied with a smile. The title of this one is Love is a Dilemma, the Lunch of a Descending Angel. Hey, something's wrong with the ship, Usopp yelled from the balcony. What is it, Usopp? Sanji asked the sniper. Look, they're yelling or something, Usopp told them as the pair rushed to the balcony. Nami Swan, Sanji yelled as he noticed the panicked woman. Why did you put on a shirt? Where were you looking to say such a thing? Usopp yelled at the man. Where were you looking to say that? Usopp shouted at the man. What's got them? Luffy asked as he noticed the creature. That's the White Sea Special, Super Express Speed Shrimp, Pagea told them. And they can't get off with her, Sanji stated. They being followed by other creatures, Usopp ate in fear. What do we do? Don't worry, Zoro's with them, Luffy told the pair, and we're going after them. Where is it taking us? Zoro yelled out as he began to take Wado Ikamanji out of its sheath. Hey, everyone, abandon ship, Nami screamed out. It's not too late. What about the ship? Chopper shouted in fear. If they take our ship, I'll stay here, Zoro told the doctor. Don't worry about the ship. What? Nami yelled in shock. What can you do by yourself? Wait, it looks like they've prepared to stop our escape, Robin informed them as they all looked behind the ship and noticed monstrous fish behind them. Those gigantic fish, they're chasing us with their huge mouth opens. Even if we jump, we won't survive. What if we take down the big shrimp? Chopper asked in fear. Whatever we do is useless, Robin told the doctor. Maybe our punishment has already started. You mean heaven's judgment? So instead of sending pursuers, they make us come to them, Zoro spat in annoyance. Cunning bastards. So, we're going to that island again, Nami screamed out in terror as they lost sight of the island. With the others. Why is she wearing a shirt? Sanji asked in shock of what he just saw. Get over it, Usopp yelled at Sanji before he turned to his captain. Luffy, what are we going to do? Where are they going? Luffy questioned as he lost sight of the ship. Where? It has to be, Usopp began to shout before he stopped himself. Actually, where are they going? The Super Express Speed Shrimp is God's servant. Anything it transports is always a sacrifice for God, Pagea told the trio. In other words, they are going to the northeast portion of Upper Yard, to the sacrificial altar. Sacrifices, Sanji yelled out in anger. Nami Swan, Robin Chan and the others will become sacrifices. Sacrifices for that God. What do we do? Usopp yelled in shock. That asshole, Sanji roared to the sky. Don't mess with me. Please wait. It's not what you think, Pagea asked the trio. For sacrifices. I only heard about it. In heaven's judgment there are two types of punishments for criminals. One is sacrifice and the other is trial. What? Usopp replied in confusion. This is what I've heard about it, Pagea said to Usopp. In other words, they're in God's hands now. They're called sacrifices, but they're really hostages. Hostages, Sanji spat darkly. Which means the ones being judges are you three, Pagea stated. What does that mean? Usopp asked the old man. If I had mapped, the man said as he began to look around the house. If you mean a map of Skypia, I have one, Usopp told the man as he dug through the bag and pulled out a map and handed it to the man. This map is very old, but it is correct, the man told them as he laid it out on a table. Here is where you are. The sacrificial altar is in the upper left, which is the northeast. There is only one way to get there, and it's via the Milky Road from this island. You must use a dial boat and pass through the forest where the priest reside. Mister, what if we go around the island instead of through it? Usopp asked as he looked at the map. No, you can't get to the altar on foot if you land near it, Pagea replied. The biggest difference between this map and the current God's Island is the addition of milky roads. Those cloud rivers, Sanji questioned as the man nodded at him. Yes, I heard there is a main cloud river, as well as hundreds of others, Pagea informed the group, so other than entering by the central Milky Road, there is no other way to get there. I see, so if we land directly, we would get blocked by these cloud rivers, Sanji stated as he examined the old map. Yes, these rivers also have man-eating fish in them, Pagea replied. Such a heart reception those guys have for us, Sanji said as he took a drag of his cigarette. Anyway, if we want our crew and ship back, we can only go in from the front. That's our trail, Usopp muttered to himself. Heaven's judgment. We just need to deal with the priests, Luffy told the group. We'll just kick their asses. It can't be that easy, Usopp replied in fear. Don't be careless. Those 4 priests are stronger than you think, Pagaya warned the trio. Most importantly, God Enel himself is in upper yard. I'll direct you to the dial ships, Knis spoke up as she noticed the trio rising to their foot. Just follow me. All right then, let's go, Luffy stated with a smile as he followed the woman. It didn't take the crew long to get to the main street on Angel Island. Knis was currently leading the group while allowing them to see some of the sights on Lovely Street. The shops are floating, Usopp screamed in shock. Lovely Street is the only big street on Angel Island, Knis informed them with a sad look on her face. It was designed to fully utilize the island cloud's property. Are they trying to avoid us? Usopp asked the small group as he noticed the people avoid their eyesight. Yeah, they probably know that we are criminals by now, Sanji replied as he continued to smoke. They've given us an easy path at least, Luffy stated as he continued to walk through the street. It's just too bad the angels are avoiding us, Sanji complained with hearts in his eyes. Don't worry about that, Usopp yelled at the cook. We have to hurry up and save them. Zoro's with them, Luffy told the sniper. You don't need to worry about them. We can't rely on that guy, Sanji yelled in annoyance. Hopefully the going Mary's all right, Usopp muttered as he ignored the cook. She's been through a lot recently. What's that on the street? Luffy asked Knis as he noticed the strange object in the middle of the street. It looks like some sort of religious figure, Sanji stated as he looked at the strange object. Don't be stupid, it's obviously art, Usopp told the pair. That's Verth, the idol of the citizens of the sky, Knis told the pair. That's your idol? Luffy asked in surprise. It's probably hard for citizens of the Blue Seas to understand, Knis stated as she began to walk off. The port is this way. We're leaving the city, Sanji asked as he tried to pick up where they were going. The ships are just outside of the city, Knis replied as the trio followed her. Luffy had a smile frown on his face as he watched the Skypians avoiding the group and making sure not to make any eye contact at all. He looked behind him and had to hold in a laugh as he noticed the captain from before following them in a crawl. It didn't take long for the group to get to the port in the small boat that Knis was lending them. She had walked the trio to the end of the port past all of the big boats and to one of the smallest ones in the port. It's called Karasumaru, Knis told them as she showed the trio the boat. Crow, Sanji muttered in confusion, but that's not even a seabird. I couldn't navigate with the waiver, so I had been using this one, Knis stated with a large smile. It's a little slow, but it also has 2 wind dials. Please use it at will. I guess it'll do, Luffy said sadly. You dislike it? Knis asked as she noticed the teen's sadness. I'm sorry, but the others are for rent and I don't have the money. Luffy, Sanji roared as he kicked the boy in the face. Apologize. I'm sorry, Luffy told the woman as he watched her closely. You just need to go through the second gate to enter the Milky Road to God's Island, Knis told them as she pointed out the gate. Hey Knis, Luffy called out to the woman. Yes, she replied. How come you've been shaking ever since you left your home? Luffy asked as the woman froze where she was standing. Is it that obvious? Knis asked as she began to shake more. Yeah, what are you so afraid of? Luffy asked as he noticed the townspeople begin to look at them. Knis-chan, you must be worried about us, Sanji cooed as he held her hand. I'm so touched. Will you be alright? Usopp asked once Sanji let go of the woman. The others on the street were clearly avoiding us. Yet, you lead us here and lend us your boat. Won't you also be considered a criminal like us? You've also gotten very pale, Luffy noted. You should have told us if you're that scared. We could have come by ourselves. No, Knis muttered as she avoided eye contact with the trio. It's not like that. Don't say unnecessary things, Luffy heard the captain from before growl from a distance. It's strange, right? Carefully explaining the details of the trial and then taking you here, Knis said to the trio. It's like tricking you to come here. Hey, don't say such foolish things, a village shouted at Knis. They all know something, Sanji thought as he lit up a cigarette. Can you just run away? Knis pleaded as she fell to her knees and began to cry. I'm sorry. Shut up, another citizen yelled out. What do you think you're doing? The one who called for the super speedy shrimp, Knis cried, was me, the giant shrimp that kidnapped Nami Swan. How could you? Sanji yelled in disbelief. After discovering a criminal, if we don't take them to the judgment ground, we'll be killed, Knis yelled as the villagers looked at her in shock. Shut up now. Do you know what you're doing? A citizen yelled. It's blasphemy. This is our civic responsibility. I'm sorry, Knis told them with tears flowing. It's really strange, right? Everything. You're really stupid, aren't you? Luffy cut her off. You did it because you had no other choice, right? So why? Why did you tell us? The trio roared at the woman. She squeaked in shock. You will be attacked, Luffy yelled in frustration. No, it's too late, a citizen yelled as he began to flee. Get away from her, another yelled as the rest of the citizens began to run away. The judgment is coming. Luffy's Kenbenshoku haki flared to life as the pirate looked up and noticed the lightning forming above him and Knis. With a quick sword, the pair disappeared from sight as the lightning came down upon where they were and left nothing but a hole in the island. Houses were thrown from the ground and everybody was knocked from their feet when the impact occurred. What's this? What happened? Usopp yelled in terror. Luffy, Kaniss-chan, Sanji shouted in worry. Where did you both go? Luffy, Kaniss, Usopp yelled out. Behind you, Luffy sighed as he held the woman in his arms. That was closer than I thought. How a villager muttered as the rest of them began to run further away. He stood up to him. He survived. You're a quick one, the trio heard from the sky. It's that strange man from before, Usopp yelled in surprise. Let me take care of the girl, the man asked as Luffy looked down at Kaniss, who nodded at him. Now that you know the truth about this country, as well as the god's power, you should decide what to do yourself. This country's business has nothing to do with us, Luffy replied. But we have friends on that island, so we're going. Good luck then, the old man replied as he flew off. Let's go, Luffy told Sanji and Usopp as the pair followed him to Upper Yard. With Kaniss. What about them, Kaniss asked the old man. They will go on the path they've chosen. It's not your fault, the man told her. I know who you are, Kaniss stated. I would be the Knight of the Sky, the man replied stiffly. No, everybody knows, Kaniss replied. Please come back, God. With Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji. Will Kaniss be all right? Usopp asked as the trio sailed on a cloud. That old man didn't seem bad, Luffy replied. We have no choice but to trust him, Sanji added. I'd protect her, but we can't bring her here. This thing is slow, Luffy complained. This boat is a few times heavier than a waver, Sanji reminded Luffy, so it can't be helped. Guys, look ahead, Usopp suddenly yelled. It's a gigantic forest. Is there something like that on the map? Sanji asked. Not really. There's a forest, but it's not marked, Usopp told them. It's just a normal forest. The guy who wrote that map was here over 200 years ago, right? And even then, it was probably an old map, Sanji said, explaining the forest. It probably took more than 1,000 years for these trees to grow so big. It's the entrance, Luffy stated as he noticed the strange statues. This'll probably be our last chance to go back. Are you prepared, Usopp? Then if we could, I'd like to go back, Usopp muttered in fear. Let's go, Luffy yelled. Not even a choice, Sanji laughed as the sniper sulked. The trio were soon met with several dangerous traps that attempted to stop their advance towards their crew. They had to avoid giant axes that were swinging from the trees. After they escaped the giant axes, they were then forced to avoid man-eating fish that filled the clouds. This was easily done by a blast of Luffy's Heishoku Haki, which sent the beasts running. After this, they came upon a large statue with 4 different paths. Trail of Swamp, Trail of Iron, Trail of String, and Trail of Balls, Sanji said as he looked at the 4 pathway. Which do we go through, Usopp asked Luffy. With Zoro, Nami, Chopper, and Robin. Zoro, Nami yelled in fear as something large burst out of the clouds around them. A shark, Chopper screamed as the beast revealed itself. Zoro is losing to a shark. Zoro was using his swords to hold the mouth of the shark open and stopping it from eating him. The beast drove Zoro back into the clouds and under the cloud sea. Robin, Chopper, and Nami watched in shock as the swordsman didn't come back up to the surface. Ah, he's not coming up, Nami screamed. Did he get eaten? Jaya, Zoro's been eaten, Chopper cried in fear as the swordsman hadn't resurfaced. If he was, the cloud would be turning red right now, Robin stated darkly from the side. Don't say such scary things, Robin, Chopper yelled in a distraught tone. Get out of my way, the trio heard as they watched Zoro resurface and punched the shark away from him and swam back to the trio. Ha, damn, looks like we won't be able to swim ashore. Where in the world are we? All we know for certain is that this is a lake somewhere in Upper Yard, Nami replied as the swordsman climbed back on the Going Merry. It looks like we're on some sort of sacrificial altar, Zoro replied as he looked at what the ship was placed on. There's also a bunch more sharks around here, and it seems like that damn shrimp has taken us to quite a dangerous place. You're a swordsman, yet you used your fist to punch a shark, Nami muttered in shock. He's so strong, Chopper said with stars in his eyes. I wonder if heaven's judgment is to let us starve in this place, Robin pondered aloud. Would something that normal really be done by God, Zoro asked the woman as Nami threw a towel at him. I don't know, I've never met him, Robin replied to the swordsman. With the ship's bottom in this state, there's no way we can put it into the water, Zoro told them all. Anyway, please try and repair it somehow, Chopper. Me, understood, the doctor replied. Repair it, Nami questioned as she looked at the swordsman. So what are you going to do? I'll be entering the forest somehow, and we'll use this place as a gathering area. Luffy and the other will come here looking for us. For sure, Zoro told the navigator. Isn't there an old saying? When you're lost, stay where you are. The one who should stay put the most is you, Nami yelled at Zoro once she realized what he had just said. God's on this island, right? Zoro asked them all. I want to meet him. What? Nami screamed at the man. Why would you want to meet someone scary like that? I dunno. That depends on him, Zoro replied with a smirk. Zoro is more arrogant than a god, Chopper said in disbelief and idolization. Don't you know that there are also priests here? You mustn't anger God, Nami yelled at Zoro in annoyance. This is just common sense. Sorry, I never pray to a god, Zoro stated as stars appeared in Zoro's eyes. I don't even believe in God, so why should I care? Oh, God, I have nothing to do with that guy, Nami prayed. Looks like we can use that vine, Zoro told Robin as he pointed to a loose vine above the ship. That's not a bad idea, Robin replied. Would you mind if I joined you? Hey, okay, bye, don't get in my way, Zoro replied. Wait, Robin's going to, Nami asked in shock. Take a look around. This altar is at least 1,000 years old. Seeing such historical remains makes me quite excited, Robin told the navigator with a small smile. Plus, if we find some gems or treasures, we can use them to repair the ship. I'm going to, Nami said as soon as she heard about the treasure. Huh, but didn't you say it was scary? Chopper yelled in shock. We're exploring history, Nami told the reindeer with bully signs in her eyes. Nami watched as Robin swung to the other side of the cloud sea around them using the vine as she heard Zoro clearing his throat. She watched as he swung over to the other side with Robin while making a Tarzan-like sound. Once he landed on his feet, he quickly called to her to follow them. Nami nervously stepped up to the vine and grabbed it. She leaped from the altar with a scream of terror as she quickly made her way over to the land and was heading straight for a tree. Robin quickly formed more arms from her body and stopped the navigator in her place, saving her from hitting the tree. My, aren't you a brave one? Robin stated with a small chuckle as she placed the navigator on the ground. Sorry to bother you, Nami replied as she was getting her breath back. Don't mention it, Robin told her as she looked around the forest. This is truly a big forest. Well then, we're leaving the ship to you, Chopper, Zoro called out to the doctor of the crew. Please take care, Robin told Chopper as she waved at him. We'll be back soon, Nami shouted to him. Okay, don't worry about me, Chopper yelled back. Just come back safely. Chopper watched as the 3 crew members left the edge of the island and quickly left his line of sight. He knew that Nami would be safe with the swordsman of the crew as he would protect both the women if anything happened out there. The only reason that he didn't join them was because he was scared, and he hoped that he would have their courage one day. As he began to work on the ship, a thought filled his head that caused him to shake in fear. Being left alone on the ship made him the crew member that was in the most danger. Somewhere on God's island, a Class 2 crime is being unfaithful to God's ruling, a voice stated. The judgments of the trial are given by our hands, another voice added. A sin is for the ignorant living being, a third voice said. The only way to find spiritual rest is pursuing in heaven's ruling, a fourth voice declared. With Luffy, Sanji, and Usopp. So which one? Sanji asked as they floated towards the 4 entrances. Okay, we'll choose Ball, Luffy told them. That one sounds fun. This is a trial, Sanji yelled. How could it be fun? Yeah, but I chose Ball too. It's the one that doesn't sound that violent, Usopp told Sanji. Hopefully it isn't. It's decided then, Sanji said as Usopp began to steer the boat towards the entrance. But we have to be careful. This is an island 10,000 meters in the air. Anything is possible. Let's go, Luffy yelled as they entered the opening. Usopp screamed at the sudden darkness and closed his eyes. Hey, the one who is steering should keep his eyes open, Sanji yelled at Usopp. But it's pitch black anyways, Usopp replied in fear. Yeah, maybe it's like this, Luffy said. Like what? Usopp asked the captain. There are 4 entrances, right? Luffy asked as Usopp nodded at him. Maybe some are hit and miss. Huh, why are you saying this just now? Usopp screamed in terror. So what happens when you miss? If you miss, Luffy pondered with a smirk. Oh, I know, you'll fall off Sky Island. Don't say that. Do you want us to fall? We're 10,000 meters above the blue sea, Usopp shouted. Do you know how many times you'll see your life flash before your eyes before you hit the ground? Stop talking, Sanji grunted in annoyance as the small boat exited the cave. The 3 pirates' eyes opened in shock and their jaws dropped as they realized that the cloud road didn't go any further. The boat fell from the sky as the 3 screamed out. One in joy, one in shock, and one in great fear. It didn't take long for the boat to land in more cloud rivers as the boat hit the water. We're safe, Usopp muttered as he got his breath back. That was scary, I thought we'd actually fall 10,000 meters. Did you purposely say those things? Sanji yelled at Luffy. Shishi, a little, Luffy replied with a laugh, but I thought we were going to die for a second there. Anyways, where are we? Sanji asked as he looked around. Balls, Luffy called out as he noticed the ball-shaped clouds around them. They look like they're made out of island clouds, Sanji noted as he looked at them. That's not all, Luffy added as he closed his eyes. Some of these balls have animals in them. Then I'm guessing they all have something hidden in them, Sanji stated. These balls line the Milky Road as well. What do you want us to do? Keep going, but be ready, Luffy said to them as he looked to the trees. We're being watched. Ho, a voice laughed out. I guess I don't get to see you play with the surprise balls. Who's there? Usopp yelled out as he pulled out his slingshot. Ho. I'm the priest Satori and you're about to go through my trial of balls. The priest laughed as he bounced on the balls. Satori is a round-shaped man with fair skin and long, dark red hair. He is clad in a white, full-body jumpsuit, which has a vertical line of golden rings that run from front to back, an orange hat similar in style to a capello romano, orange gloves, shoes, and large, yellow sunglasses that completely obscure his eyes. In addition, he carries a large, striped cane, and he has small white wings on his back. I guess we just have to beat him, Luffy said to the other 2. Sanji, take this one. This just looks like another idiot, Sanji replied as he lit up a cigarette. This should be easy. But see how well his Kenbenshoku has come along, Luffy thought as he watched Sanji jump towards Satori. Collier, Sanji shouted as he brought his leg towards Satori's neck. Sanji's eyes widened as the man shifted out of the way and attempted to drive his hand into Sanji's chest. The cook moved his body to the side and attempted an epaulet on the fat man. Once again the man moved out of the way and dodged the attack. Sanji was once more forced to move his body out of the way as the priest attempted to thrust his hand into Sanji's torso. Sanji backed away from the man and took a deep breath as he stared at the priest. So, you can use mantra as well, the priest stated as he stared at Sanji. It's no use, you're going to die anyway. Sanji relaxed his body as Satori rushed at him. The cook dodged the blow and delivered a kotelet to the priest as Satori's eyes opened in shock. A smirk formed on Sanji's face as he swung his body around and delivered a cell to Satori. The man coughed up bloods as the kick hit his lower back. He fell on the ground as Sanji brought his leg back and thrust it forwards, delivering a poitrine to the man. The cook jumped backwards as Satori fell to the floor. He took a drag of his cigarette as the man forced himself to his feet and glared at Sanji. The pirate rushed forwards once more and used Jigot, taking the man's legs out from underneath him and forcing him into the air. He followed that up with his mountain shot, which shot the man into the air as his eyes began to roll back in his head. Sanji jumped above the man and lifted his leg as he prepared to deliver the finishing blow. Concussed, Sanji yelled as he brought his foot down onto the priest's head and knocked him out. That was easy. He wasn't used to fighting someone else that could use haki, Luffy told the cook. He lost his ability the moment you hit him. There's a lesson to be learned here. You can be smart sometimes, Sanji replied with a smirk. With Ganfall, this year's pumpkin harvest is quite nice, the old man stated. Yes, Knis replied quietly. I really do not know how to thank you. I apologize for causing you trouble. You would have been in danger and treated like a criminal, the man replied. This was just a service. In here, not even Enel's mantra can find you. But how is Angel Island? It's good, Pagair replied. I meant the produce, the old man told him. How was this year's harvest? Oh, it was very good, Pagair told the man. That is nice, Ganfall replied as he handed 2 cups to Pagair. Those are pumpkin juice from this garden. Try some. Excuse me, I'll try some, Pagair said as he looked at his daughter. Knis, my daughter, come try some. Little girl, they are called pirates in the blue seas, Ganfall told the sad woman. Did you know that? I did not, she replied sadly. It means they are criminals that are sailing on the blue seas, Ganfall informed her. They would put a black flag with drawings of a skull on their ship. The Straw Hat Kid and the others are probably like that. You mean they were criminals from the start? Pagair asked in surprise. Ha, they are more like people who don't follow the rules. There are different sorts of people in different worlds. Between you two and them, what is different? Ganfall stated. More precisely, it's like a hero in war times could be a murderer in peace times. I also had friends who were pirates. About 20 years ago when I was still God, he came to visit me. He was a very open and affable person. It was bittersweet to part with him. So, there's not bad, Knis said as Ganfall nodded at her. Even though it may not seem this way, Skypia had become a warring country, Ganfall added. It is between us, the citizens of the sky, and the ones we call raiders, the people of Shandia. Even now the Shandians are challenging Enel. When you were God, you tried to create peace with Shandia. It was a hope to put an end to the war, Pagair remembered. The war that went on for centuries, but yes, when we almost had peace, Enel took the throne, Ganfall stated sadly. Because of that, all our efforts were in vain. For that I apologize. You do not need to apologize, Pagair told him quickly. There was a legend on Skypia, long ago, on the day that God's Island was born. The island sang a beautiful song heard throughout the country at the same time. The war between the citizens of the sky and the Shandia began, Ganfall informed the old man. Thus, when we hear the song of the island again, the war will end. Song of the island? Knis asked in confusion. Yes, that's when the Holy Land sings again, Ganfall stated with a large smile. It will happen someday. But the trio here, Pierre called out as Ganfall rushed towards him. What happened? Pagair yelled in shock. Please watch my home. I'm off to work, the man shouted back at them. Let's go, Pierre. The whistle chopper thought to himself as he picked it up off the mast and put it on as a necklace. I better keep this close. Good things I have this. If something happens, I can call on that Sky Knight, Chopper stated with a smile as he noticed something heading towards him. What's that? What? There's only one sacrifice to kill, the man who was sitting on a bird complained as he glared at Chopper, who quickly blew the whistle and shifted into his heavy point. Who are you? Chopper asked as he glared at the man. I'm Shura, one of the priests God sent to kill you. Sacrifice, the man replied as he stared at Chopper, and my bird is Fusa. Shura has a pointed mustache that splits into 2 parts. On his head there is an aviator hat decorated with wings, and a pair of goggles on the front. His attire is composed of an orange fur-lined jacket, with brown swollen sleeves decorated by beige spots, loose matching orange pants held up by a belt, fur-lined gloves and boots, and a purple scarf around his neck. He's dark-haired, and on his back, There is a pair of typical wings, a standard feature of all the inhabitants of Skypia. He carries his weapon of choice, a jousting lance in his right hand. Fusa is a purple feathered bird with gigantic wings on its enormous body. Fusa is large enough to carry a full-grown man. It has red feathers around its neck. Its head is white, has a sharpened beak, and the eyes are yellow-colored. Its tail is further purple-colored with lighter extensions to it. The claws underneath its legs are white, with sharp black nails. "I can't let you hurt my friends," Chopper yelled at the man as he jumped from the ship and landed on the altar. "You don't have much of a choice," Shur replied with a sinister smirk as he shot forwards on Fusa. Chopper jumped backwards quickly as Shur's lance hit the stone he was standing on and quickly cut through it. Chopper's eyes widened in shock as the cut quickly caught fire and began to advance towards the Going Merry. The doctor acted quickly to protect his cruise ship and slammed his hands down the flame, putting it out but burning his hands in the process. The reindeer masked a scream of pain as Shur turned around for another run at him. The priest once again thrust his lance at Chopper as it caught fire. The doctor only had one choice as he grabbed the lance and let it burn the side of his body as he lashed out with a punch that forced Shur backwards as Chopper screamed in pain and dropped to his knees. As soon as Chopper dropped to his knees, a sadistic smirk appeared on the priest's face as the man charged at the Going Merry and slashed the mast with his lance and caused it to catch on fire. Chopper's eyes widened in horror as he watched part of the Going Merry light up in flames. He forced himself to his feet and jumped onto the ship as he began to try and put the flames out as he heard the priest laughing at him. "Stop, stop, I beg of you to stop," Chopper screamed as he continued to try and put the flames out. "Don't attack the ship, please don't do that." The priest watched as Chopper wrapped his arms around the mast and broke it in half, making sure that the fire couldn't reach the rest of the ship. He launched through the air and onto the altar beneath the ship, watching it roll and begin to put out the fire. The doctor of the crew turned around and glared at the priest. "Don't do that again. I'm the ship's guard," Chopper roared at the man as he began to catch his breath. "They asked me to watch the ship. What do you think we should do?" Fusa Shura asked as his bird seemed to laugh at Chopper. "First you tell me not to attack your friend. Then you tell me not to attack your ship, and next you'll tell me not to kill you. You're putting me in a difficult position. Such a selfish animal really pisses me off, especially on as weak as you are." Chopper's eyes widened as the doctor jumped to the side and dodged the priest, who charged forwards and attempted to stab the reindeer with his lance. The lance stabbed into the side of the ship and quickly burned a hole in it. Chopper cried out in pain as he pushed the lance away and put out the fire with his hands once more. "You bastard," Chopper roared as he attempted to punch the man, who easily dodged it. "You want to live without sacrifice," Shura mocked as he flew away from Chopper. "He's doing what Luffy can do," Chopper thought in shock. "He's using Haki to dodge my attacks. If someone wants to survive, then someone must die. That is a reality," the priest stated. "You already know that this is the altar of sacrifice, right?" "Ah, yes," Chopper replied to the man. "That means right now your other friends are risking their lives to come here. Add to that there are 4 priests on this island that control their own territory, and when a person enters that territory, only that priest can attack them," Shura informed the doctor. "However, this altar of sacrifice is not in any of those territories. In other words, this is a free area that any of the priests may attack. However, we have to wait until those in the trial die. Then, that means if Luffy comes here to save us, we can all escape," Chopper asked in hope. "Anyways, that's just the original rules for the judgment," Shura stated, ignoring Chopper. "But these rules change under special circumstances." "Special?" Chopper questioned in curiosity. "Yes, let's just say 3 of the sacrifices used vines to enter the forest out of here," Shura replied with a smirk as a look of horror appeared on Chopper's face. "It's all his fault," Chopper thought as he remembered Zoro encouraging the others to leave. "For the crime of running away, someone must be a sacrifice. This is the way of the world. When they come back, they will also be punished for their actions," the priest yelled as he flew towards Chopper. "You must give your life to God." "No way," Chopper screamed as he was forced to shift his body at the last moment and take the lance through his shoulder. The doctor of the straw hats screamed out in pain as the lance caught fire and burnt the shoulder of the reindeer. As the priest pulled out the lance with a smile, Chopper shifted back to his normal form and spotted something heading towards him in the distance. Tears flowed from Chopper's eyes due to the pain filling his body as the priest began to bring his lance down towards him again. Before the lance could strike him, it was blocked by another man. "Thank you for waiting," the old man said to Chopper. "Knight of the Sky," Chopper muttered as he watched Shura pull back the lance. A rare guest," Shura stated as he looked at the Sky Knight. "Ganfall. A strong opponent," Ganfall noted as the two took to the sky. "We'll have to be on guard, Pierre. An old man like you is useless," Shura mocked from his bird. "Let's just play with him, Fusa." "Yell all you like," Ganfall screamed at the man as he flew towards him. "This island doesn't need 2 gods," Shura roared back as he flew towards Ganfall. The two collided in mid-air as their lances in mid-air as they both tried to knock each other into the clouds below them, knowing the sharks would tear them apart. The two clashed once more and Ganfall deflected Shura's lance and then held out his left hand in front of the priest. Chopper watched in confusion as an invisible blast hit the priest and knocked him from his bird. The Sky Knight watched as Shura fell towards the water only to be caught and saved by his bird. We need to finish this, Pierre Ganfall yelled as he charged at Shura. You know you're a criminal too. Why have you come here? Shura asked as he dodged the Sky Knight. It's a foolish thing to do. I will show you my anger towards the foolish trial of string. The two charged at each other once more and clashed with their lances, deflecting them away from each other. They took 2 more charges at each other without even getting a glancing blow before Ganfall once more held his hand towards the priest. I do not think I'll be able to bargain with you, Ganfall admitted as he glared at the man. Ha, you're still lukewarm, the priest replied as he flew away from Ganfall's extended arm. Chopper was watching the aerial fight from the altar with wide eyes as he tried to keep up with fight that was taking place in front of him. He was struggling to take in the fight fully, but he could tell something was beginning to go wrong. At the start of the fight, the pair seemed to be close to even, but even since Ganfall knocked Shur off his bird, the Sky Knight seemed to start slowing down. Something's wrong, Ganfall thought as he felt himself slowing down. My body is suddenly so heavy. Reached your limit? Shura questioned with a smirk. What did you do to me? Ganfall screamed at the man. Why can't I move my body? There is no need to answer a dying man, Shura yelled at the man as he charged at the Sky Knight with his lance catching fire. Chopper watched in horror as the Sky Knight was frozen in place. Everything seemed to slow down for him as he watched the priest's lace get closer and closer to Ganfall's chest. An aura suddenly rushed by Chopper, leaving nothing but a gust of wind in its path as the young doctor only noticed a blur rocket by him and collide with the priest, sending him flying away from Ganfall. Sorry, I'm late, a familiar voice said as he took in his surroundings. I had to rush ahead of the other. I'm sorry, Luffy, Chopper cried as he noticed his captain bouncing through the air. I wasn't strong enough. Don't worry, Chopper, Luffy replied as he smiled down at the reindeer before a look of pure hatred filled his eyes as he noticed the condition of his doctor and the going merry. Who did this to you? I did, the priest told Luffy with a sinister smirk. It's only my place to put the weak down. Sky Knight, go land next to Chopper, Luffy ordered the old man as he drew Stormbringer. You'll need to be out of the sky for this. The old man simply nodded his head as he watched the straw-hatted boy slash his blade through the sky before Ganfall felt free to move once more. The Sky Knight landed next to Chopper as he looked at the teen bouncing in the air and glaring at the priest now flying back towards him. He could feel the power that the teen emitted and the hatred that was flowing from him. He could tell this was a person that he didn't want to get into a fight with. I guess I'll just kill you first, Shura stated as he rushed the pirate. No one can survive my ordeal of string. Desidoro, Luffy muttered as he redrew his blade and appeared behind Shura by using both Zoro and Jeppo together. Chopper and Ganfall watched in shock as the straw-hatted teen sheathed his blade and the priest seemed to fall apart from the middle along with his bird below him. The two halves of the pair of them fell into the water as the sky sharks quickly dug into their meal as Luffy landed on the altar and looked over Chopper. You fought bravely, Luffy told his doctor as he placed his hand on the reindeer's head. I'm proud of how far you have grown since Drum Island. But that's not good enough, Chopper cried out as he looked at his captain. Look at all the damage he did to the ship. That can be fixed, Chopper, Luffy replied with a kind smile. But you need to be careful. We can't have our doctor getting badly hurt with Zoro wandering around out there. I'll be needed then, Chopper replied as he looked at his captain. But once this is over, I want to be stronger. I want to be able to help everyone. Then we'll push your training to the next level, Luffy told him. But you also have to keep training in your medical studies. After all, you're going to be the doctor that can create a cure for everything. Who are these people? Ganfall thought as he watched the scene unfold in front of him. And why does he remind me so much of that man? Shandian, a small girl, was sneaking back into the hidden village where her people were forced to live due to the war. She had a small bag on her hip and was creeping back through the village before she heard a voice call her out. Where were you? A man asked as he sharpened his knife and the little girl fell over. Asa. Asa is a small Shandian girl. She wears a fur dress and cap. Her dress and cap are yellow and the lines are white. The side cloth of her cap is also green. She has short brown hair and wears sandals. She also carries a tan satchel with yellow buckles. Ah, Kamakiri, Asa screamed in surprise as she saw the man cleaning his knife. Kamakiri is a muscular, dark-skinned man with a mohawk hairstyle and a pair of big, round sunglasses with red lenses and white frame. He also has 2 big and colored earrings hanging from his ears. On his back he has a pair of classical Shandian wings associated with their species. Kamakiri wears a grass skirt, similar to the ones worn by his companions, but with a red and green elaborate belt around the waist. He also sports a light red fur vest and a necklace that seems to be made of some animal's claws or teeth. Went to upper yard again, the man questioned as he looked at her. That is worth in your purse. Don't you know if you continue to do this you'll die? Blah, blah, blah. It's none of your business, the girl replied. You still can't beat Enel. Tisk, little brat, the man muttered as he watched her run off as he heard the conversation going on behind him in the tent. Chance, a man asked in surprise. Yes, we don't know why Ganfall has entered Upper Yard. That old man probably thinks that everything on this island is going to be solved somehow, another man replied. He thinks wrong. There are no other answers in battle other than winning and losing, the great warrior Kalgara once said. Turn on the light to Shandora. Those words should be our principle, be it ex-god Ganfall or god Enel. It doesn't matter who our enemy is, despite their differences, as long as they are both gods. Then to us, they are the same and they both must be eliminated. Viper, there was some resistance on Angel Island against Enel, a woman informed the man. This is the first time since Enel took power 6 years ago. Viper is a tall, muscular Shandian, and as such, sports a pair of little wings on his back. He's covered by various tribal tattoos across his left shoulder and the left side of his face. He has very long dark brown hair is arranged in a mohawk that follows into a segmented braid that goes slightly past his waist, and he has little spherical earrings. He wears a grass skirt with a rope belt decorated by 3 small ornaments that look like fangs or claws around his waist. He is also smoking a cigarillo. So what Viper asked as he looked at the woman. Ganfall saved that woman from judgment. So now Enel has an excuse to take out the former god, the woman stated. As the Sky Knight, Ganfall never harmed us, nor did he ever confront Enel. That man has finally stepped upon Upper Yard. It'll be good if he and one of the other priests kills each other. Or are you saying Ganfall isn't our enemy anymore? The enemy's enemy is our friend, Viper asked with anger clearly filling his voice as a man exited the tent. If you're uncertain, don't join the battle, lackey. You'll only be in the way. Lackey is a tall, black-haired woman with 2 large bangs parted to either side of her face on the front, and a long and elaborate ponytail on the back. She has dark green eyes, and her lips are apparently covered with pink lipstick. Like all Shandia, she has 2 small wings on her back. Lackey's outfit consists of a light purple cleavage revealing tunic with a darker pattern that exposes her stomach, and light red pants that are open on the inside of her legs. Asa, the man who entered the tent, stated as the girl stopped in her place. What? I didn't go to Upper Yard, the girl quickly said defensively. Don't enter the tent yet, the man told her as he ignored her statement. That man who inherited the great warrior's Kalgara's blood is quite angry. He can be scarier than Enel, Braham, the little girl admitted. Braham is a muscular man with the upper half of his face hidden by his hat. He wears a grass skirt with a decorated, long light red sash around his waist and a light blue veil appearing from under the skirt and reaching down to his feet. However, unlike his comrades, he also sports a fur-lined, dark green jacket and has dark gloves on his hands. With Zoro, Robin and Nami. Is that well really that significant? Zoro asked Robin as the woman looked over an old broken down well. It is. I never would have thought I'd find one buried under a tree, Robin replied to the swordsman. There's no balance between nature and civilization. Nonetheless, if we can't figure out a way to cross this river, then there is no way to enter that forest, Zoro stated in annoyance. We won't see God at this stage. They didn't predict the growth of the tree, Robin said to herself as she looked over the well. I've never seen anything like this. Hey Nami, see anything from up there? Zoro yelled out as he realized Robin wasn't listening to him. The island where God live, Nami muttered to herself as she looked through the binoculars. Upper Yard. Hey, why don't you say something? Zoro shouted at Nami as he noticed Robin now standing next to him. Is God there? What do you see? Robin asked the navigator. Can this island be? Nami said to herself in shock as she looked it over. With Canis and Pagaya. Save them, Canis asked her father in confusion. Us. Yes, Pagaya replied with a smile. Let us create something that can aid them in their escape. Shandia, you said early that your mantra felt 2 voices fall silent. Viper asked the small girl who was hiding behind Lackey. Yes, at the same time 2 of the priests fell, Acer replied in fear. Then this is our chance, Viper stated with a smirk. The true God has answered our prayers, another man stated. If we are to act, we have to move now, Viper stated as he turned around. You're still not used to Viper. Geez, stop clinging to me, Lackey stated as she whacked Asa on the head. Ouch, the girl complained as she rubbed her head. Hey, Lackey. What, the woman asked. Ganfall didn't beat the priest. There are other people here, Asa told the woman. I don't know who they are, but they're really strong, so please be careful. Hey, Lackey said as she crouched in front of the girl. Give me your purse. And no way. This is my secret purse. My treasure is inside, Asa cried out. I know, Lackey replied with a smile. I'll get some for you. With Zoro, Nami and Robin. Oi, Nami, Zoro yelled at the orange-haired navigator. Just tell me, what did you see? Never mind that. Just shut up and follow me. We have to get to the coast, Nami shouted at the swordsman in annoyance. And give me a hand. Aren't people who say follow me usually in the front? Zoro muttered in irritation. So, we'll know everything we need to once we get to the coast, Robin asked in interest. Yes, I think so anyway. I just can't believe what I saw, Nami replied with a smile on her face. On a set of ruins. Satori lost. Shur lost. Their mantra has been disrupted. Immature, it seems like we have underestimated those from the Blue Sea. They are not like the others. They were even unrestrained at the altar too, but they have no means of escaping. More importantly, right now a priest stated as he sat on a set of ruins before biting his lower lips, MNNN. In a field, do you hear the voice of the sad warriors? The results are the same no matter how many times they battle. 2 trials have been defeated, so today has been quite eventful, a man stated as he sat in a field with skulls sitting on pikes. Those guerrillas must be heading for one place, but I will not let them do that. Seeing God is presumptuous. The sun is setting, but it seems Upper Yard may yet be desolated. With the Shandians, a vicious smirk appeared on Wiper's face as he emerged from the clouds that hide his village with a small group of warriors behind him that were heading straight for Upper Yard. The small group were wearing skates that were shooting clouds out of them, allowing them to fly through the air. Every know the plan. Upper Yard has a lot of openings right now. This is a rare chance, Wiper roared at his warriors. Our target is always the shrine of God, so don't be scared of that fake god. The great warrior Kalgara is watching over us. The Shandians roared in approval as 4 of the warriors made their way to Wiper's side as the leader of the group nodded at them. These were his best warriors, Braham, Kamakiri, Genbu and Lackey. He told each of them that they were splitting up and not to die as he brought his bazooka up and aimed at Upper Yard. I swear in the name of the great warrior Kalgara, Wiper yelled as he fired his bazooka and blew apart a small section of Upper Yard. I will ignite the light of Shandora. With Nami, Robin and Zoro. Ha, ha, look, Nami told the other 2 as she caught her breath. Haven't we seen this before? What, wasn't that on the ground? Zoro asked the navigator as he looked at the structure. Is this the same one? No, this isn't. It's just the other half of the one down there, Robin told him. That means that this island used to be on the ground. It makes more sense to why this island wasn't made of clouds now. I was wondering what happened down there. The house was 2 stories high but had no stairs, Nami said to them, and there was no reason to build a seaside house like that, unless that was the connection to this island. Which means that Zoro started as he looked at the house that was familiar to the one on Jaya. This island was originally Jaya, Nami stated in shock as she looked at the house that was swallowed by nature. So for some reason this island was split in half and has floated in the sky all this time, Zoro said in surprise. It used to be on the ground, but the golden city that was found 400 years ago didn't sink, Nami told them. Jaya has always been floating in the sky. That's incredible, Zoro muttered as he looked around the group. Whoa, thank God, Nami screamed in joy as a smile appeared on her face. The sky island that we tried so hard to reach is actually the city of gold. This must be my reward from God for being so good. Weren't you afraid of God? Zoro muttered as he looked at the woman. God? Who cared about God? Nami replied as her eyes turned to Billy Signs. Is it worth more than the money we can make? Weren't you thanking God before? Robin asked as she looked at the woman with little emotion. She doesn't know what she's trying to say when it comes to this, Zoro told Robin in annoyance. Upper Yard. Unbeknownst to the Straw Hats in Upper Yard, a battle was going on as the Shandians tried to reclaim the land they lost long ago. This was about to become known to 2 of the Straw Hats that were sitting in a ship sailing on a cloud towards the altar that their friends were. Sanji, newly awakened Kenbenshoku Haki, quickly alerted him to a small group of people rushing towards him and Usopp. He pushed Usopp towards the wheel of their small dial boat and looked at the warriors that burst out of the tree line. As the warriors seemed to skate on clouds that they made over the top of them, Sanji locked eyes with the man who must have been the leader of them. Sanji cursed at the man as Wiper turned around and shot a cannonball at them with his bazooka. The cook of the Straw Hats jumped into the air and reared back his leg. He kicked the cannonball and sent it back at the group of warriors, who quickly dodged the ball as it exploded in the distance. Wiper, should we engage? One of the warriors asked his leader. No, just ignore them, Wiper replied to the warrior. What's your problem? Sanji yelled at Wiper as he realized he was the masked man from before. So you are the ones who caused the racket in Skypia. If you don't want to die, then go back to the Blue Seas and don't try anything weird on this island, Wiper told the duo as he glared at them. Otherwise I'll treat you like Enel and eliminate you too. So they're enemies with God, Sanji muttered as he lit a cigarette. We're here for our friends. I doubt you'd find them alive, Wiper told the pair. You'll need to be strong to get them and leave this island. Let's move on, Sanji told Usopp as he took a drag on his cigarette. The cook watched as the warriors left his sight as he began to feel battles begin around him. He could feel what must have been one of the priests easily cutting through the warriors that were attacking him. He frowned as he looked at Usopp and told the sniper they needed to hurry towards the altar. He'd feel better knowing that Luffy had already taken down a priest and looked after the doctor of the crew. Elsewhere, the battle between the Shandorians and the priest could be felt all over Upper Yard. At one of the battle sites, and priest and his dog was easily dispatching a large force of the warriors that were trying to make their way towards God. At another battle, a single priest was taking care of another force by himself and making sure that they didn't reach God. A single warrior landed an attack on the priest that the man simply shrugged off before the warrior heard something that stopped him in his tracks. Wiper, Kamakiri has heard, a warrior yelled out to the leader. What Wiper yelled in shock, but we were so close. You overestimate yourself, a priest mocked the warrior. Soon it will be night and our numbers will be far greater. Help the wounded, Wiper ordered in annoyance. We will retreat for now and meet in the rally point. Wait, one of the priests yelled, stopping the man from chasing the warriors. Is a tall, bald, muscular, and bearded man, like the other inhabitants of Skypia. He has a pair of small wings sprouting from his back. He's wearing a pair of sunglasses with point-like extensions on both sides. His right arm is covered with tattoos. The one on his wrist, in particular, resembles a bracelet. His attire consists of a dark green shirt, loose gray pants with many pockets and what look like zips under his knees, a long and flowing white sash around his waist, and dark leather boots with bandages around the soles. Also carries around his weapon of choice, a massive sword with an extra large hilt either in his hands or on his hip. What now, Jidatsu? Replied in annoyance. Jidatsu is a tall, dark-skinned man. He has an unusual hairstyle, with a row of upward-pointing tufts or Rasta-styled dreadlocks from ear to ear. He has a typical Birkin pair of wings on his back. He is seen wearing a matching purple jacket and pants, black gloves and shoes, a pink shirt, and a blue tie-like scarf around his neck. He sports a large, white tissue belt around his waist with a red circle in his center, resembling the Japanese flag. Enel has summoned us, Jidatsu revealed to the other priest. At the altar, Chopper, where are you? Nami called out in fear as she saw the state of the Going Merry. What happened, Chopper? The mast of the Going Merry is gone, Zoro stated in shock. What kind of repairs did he make? That's not it. He must have been attacked, Nami yelled in frustration at the swordsman. Chopper, we're sorry for being late. Are you here? Answer me. Did the attackers chop him to pieces? Robin asked darkly. Don't make up scary things like that, Nami screamed at the woman. Oi, Chopper, where the heck are you? Zoro yelled out to the doctor with a slight tone of worry filling his voice. What happened here? Something you could have stopped, they heard a familiar voice say from behind them as they turned around and noticed Luffy looking at them. What do you mean? Zoro asked his captain. While you were off exploring, Chopper was attacked and part of Merry was lit on fire, Luffy explained. Chopper put it out, but hurt himself even more and had to be saved by the Sky Knight, who I ended up having to save. Is he okay? Nami asked in concern. He is now, Luffy replied, but one of you should have stayed with him just in case something like this happened. Oh, look, it's the Going Merry, the four of them heard Usopp yell out. That must be the altar. Robin-chan and Nami Swan. I have finally passed the trial of love and arrived here, Sanji yelled out to the pair of women. Were you scared? Usopp shouted out to the group. Well, don't worry, the great Captain Usopp is here. Our training picks up once we leave here, Luffy told the trio as he used Jeppo and jumped towards the ship. Chopper, Ganfall, you can come out now. Something tells me that's going to hurt, Nami muttered in fear as she watched Sanji and Usopp board the Going Merry. The mast is gone, Usopp muttered in shock as Chopper came out of the cabin. Usopp, I'm sorry. That time, Chopper stuttered with tears in his eyes. I was fighting very hard, but I was badly burned. Are your wounds okay? Usopp asked in concern for the doctor. Yeah, Chopper replied in surprise at Usopp's worried tone. A lance that burns stuff, that's one tough opponent. At least you didn't get badly hurt, Usopp told the reindeer, whose eyes widened in shock. We'll deal with the ship later. Chopper muttered as a flame seemed to light around him. I'll become a truly dependable man. Hey Chopper, where's Ganfall? Luffy asked as he looked around the deck. Oh, the Sky Knight, Chopper replied. He took a little bit of damage in the battle, so I helped him and put him to sleep. So you used the whistle? Nami asked. Yeah, he's the only reason the ship wasn't completely burnt to the ground, Chopper replied. He put his body on the line. There's a lot of things that I want to ask him, Sanji said as he thought about the old man. I'll just have to wait until he wakes up. Yeah, I have some to, Luffy stated as he thought about the old man. With the ship like this and the sky getting dark, we'll have to wait until tomorrow to return to Angel Island, Sanji said to the crew. Anyways, let's go ashore in the forest and set up camp for the night. At least if something happens, it'll be better to fight there. Then let's have a party as well, Luffy told the crew, as a celebration for making it to the island in the sky. Hey, wait, how are we going to have a party in enemy territory? Usopp asked in fear. Don't worry about it. Let's just set up, Luffy replied with a small smile as he looked at the injuries on Chopper and frowned. Half an hour later. Thanks for the report, everybody, Usopp yelled as he stood up. After putting together everything has become so much clearer. It's amazing to think the city of gold is here, Luffy stated with a smile. We're going to take as much as we can put on the ship. Of course, Captain Nami yelled with bully signs in her eyes. Plus we know that these priests can use Kenbenshoku Haki, Sanji told everyone, so we'll have to be careful with them. So it's agreed then, Luffy stated. Tomorrow we explore this island and find the gold and take down anyone who tries to stop us. What about God? Usopp muttered as Nami began to write something on a piece of paper. Don't worry about him, Luffy replied with a smile. Alright everyone, let's do a mission briefing and battle plan for tomorrow, Nami announced as she looked up from her piece of paper. Alright, Usopp muttered in disappointment. Okay, firstly, let's review the contents of Noland's picture book. We know he first discovered the city of gold 400 years ago. But when he revisited Jaya a few years later, the whole city was gone, Nami said. In other words, this island was once part of Jaya and was blown into the sky during the time Noland was away. On the knock-up stream, Chopper asked as Nami nodded her head at him. But that can't be right. The forests are too different to be from the same place, Zoro stated in confusion. That could be due to the different substances here. The tree grow bigger and so do the animals, Robin told the swordsman. This could explain why the ruins were swallowed by the forest. Then what about that guy, Zoro asked as he pointed at the Sky Knight who Chopper had bandaged and forced to sleep. There's something more to him, right? The priest was calling him God, Chopper spoke up. He's not the bad one, is he? No, Luffy stated as he looked at the old man. I'm guessing the god they currently have kicked the old man out. Let's get back to the gold, Nami told them all. Think back to the information we found in Noland's diary. There was something about a huge bell-shaped piece of gold, Sanji recalled, as well as something about the South Birds. On the last page there was something very unclear. The things that he wrote before he died, Robin recalled as she thought about it. It was about seeing gold in the right eye of the skull. That's it then. I combined the map of Jaya and the ancient one of Skypia, Nami told them all as she showed them. When we combine them at Cricket's house, we find out what Jaya looked like 400 years ago. Oh, it looks like a skull, Usopp said in shock, which means the skull's right eye is right here, Nami told him as she pointed to it on the map. Noland was talking about the whole island. With this part of it blown into the sky, that meant the riddle was impossible to solve. So that mean, Usopp muttered in joy. Treasure, Luffy started with a massive grin. We'll go there tomorrow and get the gold. We'll have to split into 2 groups so that we can have someone on the merry, Nami told them. But there's no doubt about it. There's a massive amount of gold out there for us. We should put out the fire, Robin stated after Nami calmed down. It will only expose our position to the enemy. We can't do that, Luffy replied with a smile. After all, there's nothing like a pre-treasure hunt party. You're an idiot, Nami yelled in irritation. You have to know how dangerous this forest is, right? It'll be fine, Luffy replied nonchalantly. There are those priests. And the gorillas, plus forests are always dangerous at night, Nami yelled at the straw hat wearing boy. There are beasts and monsters. Yo, Luffy, Zoro yelled as Nami turned to look at him and noticed that he was standing there with a massive wood pile between him and Sanji. Is this big enough? Not you too, Nami screamed in annoyance. Don't worry, Nami Swan, Sanji told the navigator as he held his torch high and revealed a bunch of eyes behind him in the trees. The beasts are afraid of fire. Behind you, Nami screamed in fear. There are already some of them here. It wasn't long before the fire was burning brightly, and the party was starting. Robin was watching from the side as the Straw Hats danced with wolves that had come from the forest and somehow joined in on the fun. Drinks were being passed around as the 4 illuminated the sky. Robin couldn't help but let a small smile come across her face as she looked at her new crew. She couldn't believe that they could be such a lively bunch. Even the Cloud Wolves have been tamed, Robin heard an old man say. There's probably nobody else that would dare to cause so much noise in Enel's land. You're awake, Robin said in surprise. Should you be walking around? Sorry I caused you trouble, the old man stated. It would have been much worse if that young man didn't interfere. He can do that, Robin heard Zoro say as he sat down near the pair. You didn't cause any trouble. By the sounds of things, you saved our little doctor. There is some food left if you want some, Robin told the old man. Thank you, but I'm not really hungry right now. Oh, old man, you're awake, Luffy yelled out as he noticed the man. Why don't you join the party? Yeah, come dance, Knight of the Sky, Chopper shouted out. Aren't you a doctor? Zoro asked with a sweat drop. Oh, mister, how is Kines? Sanji asked in worry. Is she safe? Worry not. I took her and her father to my place, Ganfall told the cook. Really, that's great, Sanji replied with a smile. I had been worrying them. I overheard your conversation earlier. So this island was called Jaya originally, however. Do you know why this place is called the Holy Land now? Ganfall asked as Zoro and Robin shook their heads. For people like you, this ground must be quite typical. Of course, Zoro replied as he took a swig of his drink. However, in the sky this is unheard of. Island clouds can nurture plants but can't grow them. Greenery and soil are not a thing of the sky, Ganfall explained as he picked up some dirt from the ground. We call this Verth. For us it will forever be admiration itself. Later that night, the party had long since winded down and Ganfall had finished his story about the Verth causing a holy war. Most of the Straw Hats and all the wolves were sleeping around the diminishing bonfire that Zoro was sitting next to. What, you want me to go with you? Zoro asked as he looked at Usopp. Don't be a baby. Go by yourself. The sniper put his head down as he walked through the dark forest. He was busting to piss and had wanted Zoro to come with him just in case something was around where they were camping. He ended up walking to the clouds near the altar the Mary was on as he pulled down his pants and began to piss. As he finished his piss, he could hear a loud banging noise coming from the Mary. What is that? No one should be on the Mary this late, Usopp thought aloud as he tried to get a look through the fog blocking his view. Usopp's eyes widened as he began to see an outline of a figure with a hammer in their hand. The figure looked to be fixing the Going Merry as Usopp began to cry and his jaw fell wide open. With a scream of ghost, the sniper of the crew fell backwards and passed out. It wasn't long after that the sniper was found by the swordsman of the crew. What was he thinking? Telling me he was going to take a leak and the falling asleep here, Zoro muttered to himself as he hoisted the sniper over his shoulder. Now I wonder where Luffy went off to. With Luffy, the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates was sitting in a clearing and could feel his blood boiling as he thought about the injuries to Chopper. He had his Kenbenshoku Haki activated and could feel 25 men heading in his direction. He stood up with a smirk on his face as they broke into the clearing. After all, this could be very stress-relieving for the pirate. "Thought has ordered your execution," one of the men yelled out. "He has sent you to see what I can do," Luffy corrected the man. "His Kenbenshoku Haki is off the charts." "Eliminate him," one of the men yelled. "Let me tell you something a great man once told me," Luffy stated as he unsheathed Stormbringer. "You can hurt me as much as you want, but never hurt my friends." Luffy brought his sword up and decapitated the man in front of him as the rest of the men stuck their spears through the man. Their eyes widened in shock as the spears seemed to break due to a black substance coming off the pirate. The boy smirked at them as he swung around and cut open the chest of the men around him. The rest jumped back in fear as the boy flicked the blood from his sword and sheathed it. An uneasy chill ran down their spine as the black substance from before seemed to radiate from the boy as he leant down and touched the ground. "Kiraku Horu," Luffy muttered as the black substance rushed towards the remaining men and the dead bodies, swallowing them whole. Vibration. Mangled bodies were realized from the black substance as it returned to Luffy, and he looked to the sky. He could feel the slight panic in Enel as he so easily dispatched the men that the god had sent after him. But the pirate knew the real battle hadn't begun. The true battle would begin the next day, and Luffy had a feeling he would be fighting the so-called god. The crew had split up into two groups as they set out in the morning. The first group consisted of Nami, Sanji, and Usopp, who would take the Going Merry through the island and land as close to the shore where they'd pick up the rest of the crew. The second group consisted of Luffy, Zoro, Robin, and Chopper. This group was in charge of finding the gold on the island and taking it to the Going Merry before they tried to leave Skypia. But something told Luffy that their plans wouldn't go as smooth as Nami thought they would. The second group had not long split from the first when Luffy began to feel a giant presence around them. He could tell it wasn't a particularly strong beast, but he was left wondering what was following them. He was broken out of his thoughts when he heard Chopper scream about a giant snake. The straw-hatted pirate smiled as he saw the large snake bring its body up and slam it into the ground, forcing the remaining three members of the group to flee. Luffy simply allowed himself to become his element and passed around the snake as he had to let out a sigh of irritation. Zoro and Chopper had left in the wrong direction, with Zoro somehow turning himself around completely. The only one who was going in the right direction was Robin, who was running through the trees to stay out of the damage zone. The large snake reared back a second time as Luffy simply lifted his hand with a smirk. "Stay," Luffy ordered with a dark look in his eyes as the snake froze in place. "You'll save me from walking." Going Merry. The group on the Going Merry were currently listening to Ganfall fill them in on the history of Skypia and how Enel rose to power. The trio were freaked out by the power that the god of Skypia held, especially when Ganfall told them that Enel had destroyed a complete sky island by unleashing its power. The other thing that terrified them was his use of mantra. That sounded like something that made sure they wouldn't be under the radar of the god for long, especially with how their captain could be at times. Shandora, the bag of Verth lackey, screamed as she saw the bag of dirt on the ground. "Wiper, what have you done to Ace's treasure?" "Silence," a man told her as he stopped her from making her way over to Wiper. Braham lackey grunted in annoyance. "There won't be another chance like this. We shall not this chance pass us by. Anyone who is not ready can stay here," Wiper yelled to the crowd that was gathered. "I won't blame anyone that stays behind." "What do you mean, Wiper? We have already been ready to fight," a warrior asked their leader. "Are you ready to leave behind your fallen comrades in battle? Are you ready to step over their corpses for our goals? Because only then should you come with me," Wiper roared out. "Because today, I'm going to cut off Enel's head." "God's shrine. Have they all gone below?" Enel asked as he leaned back on his chair. "Yes, everyone is ready, including the remaining priests and their trials," an intendant told the man. "Commander Yama and his remaining men are also ready to fight. But is all this preparation really need to so few warriors?" "Don't underestimate some of those warriors," Enel told the man as he thought about the straw-hatted boy from the night before. "I'd say that by the end of the day there will only be 5 warriors left. Everyone else will have fallen in the battle." With Luffy, the straw hat-wearing pirate had a small smile on his face as he sat on the giant snake that was leading him through the forest. His Kenbenshoku Haki had already alerted him to the fact that the battle had already begun, and the boy had to stifle a laugh every time he felt a warrior come near him, only to flee in terror as soon as they saw him riding a giant snake. The pirate called the snake to a stop as he felt a familiar presence to him. He looked down and took note of the man who must have been hiding behind the mask when they first saw him. "What are you doing, brat?" Wiper asked Luffy as he stared at the boy. Looking for gold, Luffy replied simply as he noticed the agitated look on the warrior's face. I swore I told you to leave this place, Whitebeard stated as he glared at Luffy. Maybe you did, the boy replied with a smile. This island belongs to my people. This is my business, Whitebeard grunted in annoyance. I'm just here for the gold, Luffy replied as he stared at the man. I'm not going to get in your way. I'm not letting you leave now, Whitebeard stated as he lifted his bazooka. I'm going to eliminate you. Whitebeard began to pull the trigger of his weapon before he noticed that Luffy had disappeared from the spot he was standing just seconds ago. The warrior then felt an undeniably strong pressure being placed upon his bazooka as he turned his head to the side and noticed a suddenly serious Luffy hold the bazooka in his right hand and glaring at him. I wouldn't do that if I was you, Luffy stated as he let loose a wave of Heishoku Haki that caused Whitebeard's legs to buckle. You're not my enemy. So what? Whitebeard roared as he attempted to turn around only to be kicked through the air. The warrior forced himself to his feet with a smile on his face as he raised his bazooka and pointed it at the pirate as he pulled the trigger. A loud bang was heard throughout the clearing as everything in front of the warrior was ripped from the ground. The man fell to his knees as he began to breathe regularly again. That pressure from before had disappeared and he was able to move freely. His eyes widened in shock as he watched the smoke disappear from in front of him only to see the pirate standing without a scratch on him. You're just like him, Whitebeard muttered in disbelief. You're just like that monster. I've had enough of this, Luffy stated as he appeared in front of Whitebeard and allowed his Heishoku Haki to wash over the man as Whitebeard's eyes rolled back in his head as the man passed out. Wonder if anyone else is enjoying themselves. With Chopper, somebody help, Chopper screamed as he ran past the battles that were taking place around him. The doctor was in his reindeer form as he fled from the three warriors that were following him before they were intercepted by priests, who began to attack them. The small reindeer was terrified as he heard ring out from the guns around him. He saw explosions being set off from people's hands and watched as flames began to consume the giant trees surrounding them. The young pirate managed to briefly escape the fighting and entered what seemed like an area of people before he saw a man being consumed by the clouds. With Robin, the forest has lost its tranquility, the newest member of the Straw Hats noted as she began to hear the first signs of war taking place. But I can't worry about that now, I think I'm getting close. Robin walked through the large forest and watched her surroundings closely. She could see building from before this part of Jaya was blown into the sky, laying in rubble. The trees had taken over the island and had wasted no time growing in the destroyed building that showed the history this island held. She heard the rustle of leaves from above her as a goat-like man jumped from the trees and landed on the rubble in front of her. Woman, this path leads to God's shrine, the man yelled at Robin. You may not continue any further. Get down from there. Right now, Robin shouted back in annoyance. Do you have any idea how valuable those historical ruins are? The man grunted in confusion before he glared at the woman. You'll see, cheeky little girl. I'll see, Robin questioned with a chuckle. Do you have a problem with me? Kind of. God Enel ordered us to eliminate all the intruders, the man stated as he fell into a fighting stance before arms appeared on his body. Say's floor, Robin muttered as 6 arms appeared on the goat man's body and wrapped around it. Twist. A sickening crack was heard as the arms twisted the man's body around and seemingly broke several of his bones. The woman walked past the downed fighter as she berated him for daring to disturb the history that was around them. She looked over the ruins with a smile on her face before she continued on in hopes of finding more of the history she so desired. With Zoro. What's up with these guys? Zoro asked himself as he knocked out another warrior with the hilt of his sword. I really don't get what's happening. Please, I give up. I admit I lost. I surrender. Spare my life, a goat man begged as he staggered into the clearing. No, I beg you, don't. Zoro watched as 2 bullets punched through the goat man's head, killing him instantly. The swordsman looked up and noticed a warrior jumping into the clearing he was standing in with his guns raised. Again, if you're not a priest or a god, don't get in my way. I don't have time for this, Zoro shouted at the man who just raised his guns. The man fired both his guns as 2 bullets rushed at Zoro, who casually jumped in between them before they blew up behind him and lit the sky up. The brightness blinded Zoro as Zoro grunted in annoyance and tried to find the warrior who fired the bullets once he could see normally again. The swordsman scanned the area before he heard a noise from behind him and had to step to the side to dodge a blow from behind. As he stepped to the side, he felt the bottom of the guns being driven into his gut and forcing the air out of his lungs. The swordsman fell to his knees as the gun-wielding warrior jumped backwards and raised his guns once more. This may be a little bit of a challenge, Zoro admitted as he stood up and smirked at the warrior. I guess I have to stop underestimating you. Zoro took a deep breath and unsheathed all his swords as he watched the man seem to get shot at him. The warrior jumped over Zoro's head and once again shot the flashes from his gun, blinding Zoro as the swordsman grunted in annoyance and confusion. Zoro quickly deduced that this man was using what they called dials to make such a quick jump, as well as blind him. The swordsman quickly adjusted to the blinding light and picked up where the warrior was standing just in time for the man to fire 2 bullets at him. Zoro quickly deflected the 2 bullets that the warrior shot at him and sent an air slash his way. By the time the slash passed by where the warrior stood before, the man had already moved by using his strange skates and once again shot 2 flashes of light that blinded Zoro once more. Zoro closed his eyes and heard 2 bullets flying towards him once more. The pirate simply moved out of the way and once again sent an air slash at the warrior. A grin suddenly appeared on Zoro's face as he could feel the warrior moving around him and firing bullets at him. Zoro simply brought his sword up and deflected each bullet away from his body and into the forest, showing the finesse that came from the many years of his training. His other training was also kicking and he realized he could feel the movement that the warrior was making. He had awoken his Kenbenshoku Haki. His grin turned into a dark smirk as he began to dish out air slashes at an incredible speed that was cutting deep into the trees around them. The warrior he was fighting was getting noticeably slower as Zoro could tell that he had cut him multiple times with his wild slashes. Zoro felt the man shot 2 more flashes from his gun before he began to charge at him in a last-ditch effort to defeat the moss-haired swordsman. Zoro lifted a single sword in front of him and smiled at the man as he got in range of his strongest ranged attack. "Itoryu, Sanjiroku pound ho!" Zoro roared as he slashed his sword forward and a compressed ball of air shot at the warrior. The ball struck the warrior in the gut and began to tear at his gut. The warrior grunted in pain as he fell to the ground as he moaned out in pain. "No hard feelings. It has nothing to do with you," Zoro told the man, "but you tried to kill me and I intend to leave this island alive." With Chopper, Luffy, Zoro, Robin, Chopper muttered in sadness as he continued to walk with his stick. "Will I ever see them again?" A raccoon, the priest Chidatsu, muttered in confusion. "Ah, I'm at the ruins already," Chopper stated as he looked around. "Maybe everyone is already here." With Sanji, Nami and Usopp. Sanji Usopp yelled in terror as the blonde cook fell to the deck of the Going Merry. "I can't feel a heartbeat," Nami cried as she felt the man's neck. "That can't be true," Usopp yelled as he drew his gun and pointed it at the man who hurt Sanji. "I'll kill you." "You talk too much," the invader stated as he appeared in front of Usopp and poked his forehead. Nami watched in terror as Usopp fell to the deck. His body was fried like Sanji's was and he had ceased moving. She looked at the man in terror as he revealed himself as the god that everyone feared in the sky. He went on to explain why he created his plan and why 6 years ago he decided to take the title of god from Ganfall. He explained that he had pillaged all the gold in Skypia for a reason and put Ganfall's old men to work on something he wouldn't disclose. Then he disappeared in an instant as he laughed at the pair that remained conscious. "He's gone," Nami muttered with wide eyes. She could tell how dangerous such a man was. "Ha ha ha!" Ganfall and Nami heard as they turned and noticed a pair of extremely round men. With Robin, "Who's there?" the assassin asked as she felt the presence behind her as she read over the ruins. "You're a cute one," a large man chuckled as he exited the forest surrounding the ruins. With Nami, Usopp and Sanji. "What do you want?" Nami roared out at the 2 fat men with goat-like features. "What do we want is incorrect. You killed our big brother," the man on the right stated as he danced around. "We are the vice-commanders of the gods' militia. How dare you do that to Satori-sama?" "Ho ho ho!" the other one laughed as he danced alongside his brother. "What brother? I've never met him," Nami shouted at the idiotic pair. "I'm Hattori," the one on the right stated. "I'm Kotori," the one on the left said as they continued to dance. "You took the oldest of the us triplet and killed him." Hattori and Kotori are twin brothers that look and dress exactly the same, and have some similarities to their older brother, Satori. They have bodies shaped like giant balls, and they wear white jumpsuits with a white sash. They wear orange shoes and orange gloves. They also have yellow sunglasses that cover up their eyes completely. Behind them, they wear magenta ribbons, and on their heads they are bald. As part of divine soldiers, they have goat-like noses, ears, and horns. They also have the same wings as all Birkins. "I've told you, I've never met Satori," Nami screamed in frustration. "No mercy," the pair yelled as they charged forwards. Pierre Ganfall shouted as he picked up his lance and noticed his flying horse coming towards him. "I have to defeat them quickly and catch up to Enel. I don't know what plans for them are, but the wounds I've received will not stop me, so get back, girl." "No," Nami growled at the man and put together her climb attack as she looked at her downed crewmates and stepped next to Ganfall. "Sometimes I must also protect them." "Very well," the former god replied with a small smile. "Now we have to find out what dials they possess." Nami charged at the pair and swung her climb attack. The pair easily dodged her swing and rushed past her. They easily moved past the old injured knight and quickly began to lay a beat down on the already downed Usopp and Sanji. Nami's eyes tightened into a glare as she charged at the pair and began to scream at them about harming her crewmates. She reared her staff back and swung it forwards as hard as she could. "Thanks for the impact," the man stated with a smirk as he held his gloved hand up and absorbed the blow. He then quickly brought his hand down and held it in front of the suddenly frightened Nami. "An impact dial," Nami thought as the man laughed. "Take this," the man roared out. Nami's eyes widened and then she fell to the ground in disgust as she could smell whatever horrendous thing that was stored into the dial. She could hear the pair gloat about storing their fart in the dial and begin to mock the pair of Nami and Ganfall. They even had the overconfidence to tell the pair what dials they currently possessed. Did you memorize then? We have the flame dial, axe dial, impact dial, and flavor dial. But can you identify which is which? The pair mocked as they began to spin around each other. Come on, who's Satori and who's Katori? What hand has what? What will we attack with? Does it make you anxious? Now that the dials have been identified, there is no need to wait. Ganfall roared as he charged forwards. It doesn't matter who is who, Nami screamed as she pulled her climb attacked back and threw it forwards. The weather's is hurricane. Haha, you missed. The pair mocked as a section of the staff flew by them. Come on, what dial is on my right hand? One of them mocked as he held his hand out in front of Ganfall, who pulled his cloak over himself as the dial went off. Ha ha ha, the other man laughed as he saw the cloud of past gas head for Ganfall. Unfortunately, it's past gas again. The first goat laughed her out. What did you think it would be? Flame. My right hand is flame, the second goat man stated as he held his hand forwards and the dial went off. Watch out, the gas will explode, Nami screamed out in terror with wide eyes. Nami was forced to watch as the large cloud of gas got set alight by the flame dial and caused a large explosion on the Going Merry. She brought a hand to her mouth as she watched the explosion blow of the railing on the side of the ship and blow Ganfall away with it. Ha ha ha, that dumbass got blown away, the pair of bothers said together as they laughed, unknowing letting Ganfall climb back onto the ship. Only a fool would think that, Ganfall stated as he sliced down Katori. You underestimated me. Katori, Hattori screamed in horror. Here it comes, Nami muttered as she saw her climb attack begin to return to her. Oh, Hattori muttered as he heard the wind from behind him. Cyclone tempo, Nami shouted. The section of the staff that Nami had thrown before returned to her and collided with the back of Hattori's head and sent the man flying off the Going Merry. She quickly ran to Ganfall's side as the man fell to his knees and began to mutter something. Hey girl, Ganfall muttered as he saw Nami by his side. The gauntlet down there, that would be mine, use it to defeat him. Did your wounds reopen? Nami asked in concern. It's fine, just get the gauntlet, Ganfall grunted. As Nami scoured the deck for the gauntlet that Ganfall had told her about, the man began to explain that it was an impact dial and how they should be used. The navigator found the gauntlet and put it on her hand. As she began to worry about the weight of it, she heard something emerge from the clouds screaming. Revenge, no mercy, the man screamed. Looks like there's no time to worry about the weight, Nami muttered to herself. First toy beat Satori. Now you beat my baby brother Katori, the man screamed in anger. I won't forgive what you have done, no matter how much you beg. He uses fire, but his body is wet, and the atmosphere is humid, Nami thought to herself as a plan came to her. Cool ball, Nami shouted as she sent a small amount of cool balls at the man. What is that? Hattori asked as the balls began to hit him. It's kind of chilly, is that all? You use fire, right? Nami questioned. Why you? Don't you underestimate me, trying to use that puny cold thing to affect my flame, Hattori screamed. I'll burn you to death. Nami let a smirk appear on her face as the man did exactly what she expected and set off his flame that collided with the cool balls. This caused a deep fog to be created and cover the deck of the Going Merry, blocked the view of the two fighters. Using this to her advantage, Nami attacked Hattori and placed the hand with the gauntlet on his face. She poked her tongue out at the man and set off the impact dial that knocked the man out and sent him flying off the Going Merry as she screamed in pain as well. Oh, ouch, my hand. Are you crazy making me use such a thing? The navigator complained in annoyance. But we saved both our crew and the ship. With Chopper, over there, a divine warrior told the priest. Where is it? The priest asked. Jidatsu-sama. You're doing that eye thing again. You can't see, the warrior reminded the priest, who opened his eyes in surprise as the warrior pointed at Chopper. Over there, that small animal. Look at the picture and see that he was with those Blue Sea citizens. What? Jidatsu yelled in shock. It's not just a wild creature, the warrior explained. Luffy, Zoro, Robin, are you here? Chopper yelled out. Hello. Chopper heard from behind him. Where did he go? Who is that? Chopper thought fearfully as he looked at the giant man with completely white eyes behind him. Jidatsu-sama. Your eyes aren't facing forwards again, the warrior shouted at the priest. The enemy is in front of you. Is this guy an idiot? Chopper thought to himself. Wait, he said enemy. Are you a priest? Chopper asked as the man seemed to be mumbling something. Jidatsu-sama, say it out loud, the warrior once again reminded the priest. Watch your feet. You are in my territory now, Jidatsu warned the reindeer. I've already planted the swamp cloud traps. Once you are trapped in them, you can't get out. This is the trial with a 50% survival rate. The trial of the swamp. But you're the one sinking, Chopper stated as he watched the cloud consume half of the man's body. Fool, I am immune to this swamp, the priest stated as he began to rise out of the clouds. Cloud dial, take flight. Wow, that's amazing. He flew into the air by using something on his shoes, Chopper said in amazement as he watched the priest form a cloud above his head. I wonder what else he can do. I have no time to waste with a raccoon, Jidatsu muttered to himself. Numagumo burger. He's shooting something from his hand as well, Chopper stated in wonder. Though as light as a cloud, it is actually a swamp, the priest yelled out. Once you touch it, there is no way out. Jidatsu-sama. I'm not the enemy, the warrior yelled out just before the cloud began to consume him. Hey, he can't take it off. His hands just keep going deeper, Chopper thought as he watched the warrior be swallowed by the cloud. The more he struggles, the more he traps himself. There you are, Jidatsu shouted as he saw Chopper. Numagumo burger. Wah, so scary. If I get hit I'll die for sure, Chopper screamed as he noticed the warrior from before and pulled him out of the cloud. Hey, are you okay? Hang in there. Chopper changed into his monster form and began to try and revive the passed out warrior. He eventually heard the warrior's heart begin to beat once more and sighed in relief as he made sure the goat man had no other noticeable injuries. That was when he heard the voice of the priest once more. How pathetic. Requiring aid from an enemy, Jidatsu mocked from above the pair. Such half-words after what you did for me, the warrior stated in malice. I won't serve you anymore. Let's fight side by side, Chopper stated as he stood next to the priest. Die by my axe style, the warrior yelled as he held his left hand forwards. Whatever. Jetto Panchai, the priest roared as he shot forwards and punched the warrior in the face, knocking the man out. This is the long-extinct jet dial. It increases the speed and power of my punch, but it destroys my clothes. This is the power of a priest, Chopper thought fearfully as he looked at the downed warrior. And the dial's on the man's elbows. If I don't run away, I'll die. He set those swamp traps everywhere, Chopper muttered as he tried to flee. I have to find my way to the forest. Jetto, Chopper heard the priest yelled from behind him as the doctor quickly swallowed a rumble ball. Panchai. Chopper quickly shifted into his jumping point and jumped into the air to dodge the blow. As though he was out of danger, his eyes widened as Jidatsu jumped up to him using the jet dials on his fist and took another swing at him. Chopper quickly switched into his heavy point and dodged the blow and began to fall as the priest shot another swamp cloud at him. The reindeer then shifted into his guard point and felt the cloud bounce off him. As soon as the cloud was moving away from him, the doctor changed into his brain point and began to scope out his opponent. I must find something, Chopper yelled as the priest flew at him. Jetto Panchai, Jidatsu screamed as he slammed his right fist into Chopper and sent the doctor flying into a set of ruins. I'm lucky I was prepared, Chopper thought in his guard point with a very bruised face. But I found his weak point. But this isn't good. The punch took more out of me than I expected. Walk, Chopper muttered to himself in his walk point. A look of determination appeared on Chopper's face as he made his way towards Jidatsu. He had decided that he would not run. This was a battle that he would win. The reindeer shifted into his heavy point and walked towards the priest, who simply kicked him in the head. What are you trying to do? Jidatsu asked as he held his hands above his head. Numagumo burger. Because I always run away. Everyone also has to protect me. That's why no one relies on me, Chopper thought as he shifted back to his walk point. I will start my life as a pirate right now. Jumping point, Chopper yelled with a smile on his face. Will you give it up already? Jidatsu asked in annoyance. The sky is my territory too, don't you get it? Come, Chopper thought as he watched the man closely. Chopper broke out into a smile as the priest tried to take to the air, only to realize that he only had one shoe on. Chopper had taken it earlier without the priest's knowledge and was watching him fly wildly around the sky. Damned raccoon, Jidatsu cursed in frustration. I'm a monster and I'm strong, Chopper yelled as he changed into his heavy point and fell towards Jidatsu. Only the weak raised their voices, the priest muttered in annoyance. Jetto Panchai. The priest threw his right fist forwards once more as the jet dial was activated. To his complete shock, the punch somehow missed where he was aiming and only clipped the reindeer on the cheek. Chopper quickly shifted into his arm point as he fell backwards and held his hand together. Kokide cross, Chopper roared as he threw his hands forwards. The reindeer hit the open priest right in the center of the chest, causing the man to be cut open in an X shape and fall to the floor. Chopper shifted back to his normal form as he fell from the sky with the priest behind him. Chopper landed on a piece of ruins as Jidatsu landed headfirst in the swamp cloud and began to sink into it. That's it, I'm a real pirate now, haha. He fell into one of his swamps. Don't get back up, stay like that and sink, Chopper yelled out. The reindeer heard the priest mutter. He's still moving, Chopper yelled in shock. He's still alive. I was too careless. I can't believe I lost to a raccoon, Jidatsu thought to himself. And I fell into a swamp cloud. I must get out of this place as soon as possible. Wah, please don't get back up, Chopper screamed at the drowning priest. Sink, please sink. X extraction dial, Jidatsu thought as the jet dial in his remaining show went off. He sank, Chopper yelled in shock as he watched the jet dial go off. Very good, I defeated him. After the doctor finished celebrating his victory, he delved into the bag that Sanji had sent with each of them. He went past the fruit and meat and grabbed a body of water and began to drink it as he thought about what to do. The young pirate decided that instead of searching for the other, he would go and find the gold himself, beginning with searching the cave at the edge of the ruins. With Robin. Missy, you're not as strong as you pretend to be, the large man mocked as he stood over Robin. Robin was on one knee as she was taking deep breaths and glared at the man. She was covered in bruises from the fight as she began to look around her. She was deeply angered as she noticed all the destroyed ruins around her that the giant man had caused. Sudamaku Mont, the fat man, yelled as he jumped forwards. Robin was forced to jump backwards once more as the man thrust his stomach towards her and destroyed everything in his way. She had to admit that the man was surprisingly agile for a man of his size. But she was getting more and more angered at the though. In his attack against her, he had once again destroyed pieces of history that could never be fixed. Faintful, Robin said as she decided that she needed to take a stand to protect the history behind her. Calendula. The man once again jumped forwards and thrust his stomach forwards into the woman's hand, who tried her best to hold the large man back. She began to struggle quite quickly before she was thrown backwards and landed on a set of destroyed ruins behind her. When will you stop protecting a dead city like this? The man asked mockingly. You have no feeling of joy in honoring our ancestors' footprints, Robin stated in anger. I do not care about the past, Yama replied to the woman. Foolish people always say that, Robin told the man as she glared at him. Do you know who I am? Yama yelled in anger as he ran forwards. Panchai Mont. Robin was forced to jump out of the way as the man punched the ground she was resting on. Her glare on him intensified when she saw the ruins once again began broken apart as the anger man began to destroy more of them, seemingly just to annoy her. I have to move quickly out of these ruins, or this fool will destroy this place, Robin thought to herself. Where are you going? Yama asked as he looked at the back of the fleeing straw hat. Robin ignored the man as she continued to run away from the man in hopes of dragging him out of the ruins that he was destroying. She heard the man punch one more ruin before he began to chase after her. She smiled slightly as she felt him behind her as she exited the ruins and ended another ruin. As soon as the pair were far enough away, Robin came to a stop and turned around to face Yama. Have you had enough of running away? Yama asked in annoyance. Yes, Robin replied. It is not necessary anymore. No necessary, Yama questioned. Now if you apologize, I won't forgive you, Robin stated as she held her arms up. You forgive me? Yama asked with a chuckle. That is astounding. You really want to protect those ruins, but those ruins aren't yours. True, the ruins don't belong to anyone, but Robin started before she trailed off. Forget it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Don't worry about that. Even if you want to talk, you won't be able to, because I'm going to kill you, the man yelled at her before he jumped into the air. Dorapu Mont. Is that all? Charging like a bull. I will teach you the severity of destroying history, Robin stated. Here away from the ruins, I don't have to hold back. Train to floor. Arms began to form from the branch of a tree above Yama and caught the flying man, stopping him in his place. The arms swung the man away from the tree and then quickly pulled him back towards it, smashing the man face first into the tree. As he hit the tree, Robin was forced to release him due to his weight and dropped him to the ground. The man forced himself to his feet and jumped at Robin once more. A look of surprise appeared on his face as he realized that the dials on his body were turned around. Robin simply moved out of the man's way as he collided with the tree behind her and activated the dials. The dials began to tear into his body as he fell to the ground at Robin's feet. The ruins you destroyed are priceless, and even though history is always being created, men cannot return to the past, Robin told the man as she lifted him up by his hair. Do you understand? I understand. I won't do that again, Yama said barely above a whisper. Forgive me. No, Robin replied simply as the man in her hands growled. In that case, I'll kill you, Yama replied in anger as he lifted his arms above Robin, before they were pulled backwards by arms that Robin had created. Ah, my fingers. Shinfleur, Robin muttered as arms sprouted out of the ground in front of the pair. Delphinium. She dropped the man onto the hands as he began to plead for his life as he rolled towards the edge of a cliff. Robin formed more arms on the man and wrapped around him, stopping him from making any attempt to escape. Her flew off the side of the cliff as he continued to beg the woman for his life. It's too late for apologies, Robin stated. Clutch. A sickening crack was heard throughout the area as the man's body was broken by the hands that Robin had formed. His body went limp in the air as he fell towards the ground. His head impacted first, and that was the last thing the man ever saw in the world. That's how bad this crime is, Robin muttered to herself. With Canis and Pagaya. Is it all right if I call you Miss Asa? Pagaya asked the young Shandian girl that was on the boat with them. Do you really know where the people from the Blue Seas are? Yes, the small girl replied. What an amazing ability. You can hear people voices from so far away, Canis stated in amazement. By the way, are you feeling okay? You've been shivering since earlier. I've never been so scared in my life, Asa admitted as she continued to shake. Everyone's voices are disappearing. Excuse me, let's pick up the pace, Canis, Pagaya stated in worry. Yes, father, the girl replied. With Nami and Ganfall. Wait, where are you going? Nami asked the Sky Knight as he continued to put his armor on. Sorry, I'm going after Enel, Ganfall replied to the navigator. What, you want to leave a lady here all alone? Nami yelled out. That's why I apologize to you, Ganfall replied to the woman. This concerns my followers' lives. No, it may as well concern the survival of this nation. The navigator grunted in annoyance as the knight jumped on his bird. Pierre, can you still fly? Ganfall asked as the bird took to the skies. The bird replied. I said wait. You insensitive old man, Nami shouted out to the man. I need to give these two first anyway. Nami dragged Sanji and Usopp towards the middle of the ship and began to give the pair first aid. She was cursing the fact that she was on the ship alone and without Chopper, who was really needed right now, as clouds seemed to explode near her. The explosion caused another cloud to form in locking place near the Going Merry before a small boat pulled up next to the Straw Hat's ship. Hiso. Miss Nami, the navigator, heard Knis call out as she looked over the railings of the Going Merry. Knis, Nami called out in shock. Why are you both here, and why is that ship so loud? Hey, you can't go down there, Nami heard Pagaya yell at a small girl. Let go, Asa shouted back. If we go any further we won't make it back alive, the man yelled at her. You agreed that we would leave right away, didn't you? Who is that? Nami asked as the group climbed on the Going Merry. Citizen of the Blue Sea. I will destroy, Asa yelled as soon as she saw Nami. I'm a warrior of Shandor. You mean you want to fight me? Nami asked as she lifted her hand with a gauntlet up. I'm warning you, I'll use the impact. Wah, oh no, these two are burnt to a crisp, Knis shouted out in concern. We must heal them as soon as possible. Excuse me. We created a shortcut on the way here. I created a new stream with a cloud dial that leads to the White Sea. Pagaya told them. We should leave quickly before we are spotted. Then you should have been quiet when you arrived, Nami screamed in annoyance. Oh, I just remembered. I have something for you, Pagaya stated as Nami looked at him in confusion. With the Shandians. This is boring, Enel said to himself as watched the warriors attempting to attack him before a man thrust his spear through Enel's head. You look like you're in pain. There's no way to beat you, the warrior muttered in shock as he felt the electrical current flowing through his body. Ah, a brilliant deduction. You understand, don't you? I am lightning, Enel stated with a smirk. No matter much humans struggle, they will never defeat lightning. Even though you've grown up on a sky island, you've seen lightning at least once. Right, ever since ancient times, to run from their fear. Human describe anything terrible that they can't define as God. I'm one of the natural disasters that humans gave up on conquering. Burning blade, the warrior screamed as he slashed his blade through Enel. The 5 minutes I promised you are over, Enel stated as his body reformed. I'm going to start attacking and it's too late to run. Viper, the warrior muttered as he charged at Enel. Did you think you could move faster than lightning? Enel mocked as he easily dodged the attack. Viper, run, the warrior screamed out in hopes his leader would hear him somehow. 1,000,000 volts, Enel said as he let the electricity discharge from his body. The discharge released from his body carried throughout the area and burned anybody nearby. The warriors surrounding Enel were all easily knocked out as the discharge carried down the cloudy river. It knocked out anybody that was near the river and reduced the game by a large amount. May as well visit that strong voice, Enel thought to himself. With Nami. Fantastic. Miss Nami, Pagaya called out as he noticed the woman riding the waver. It seems I have successfully restored it. Thank you. I love this thing, Nami replied as she returned to the Merry. The speed of this waver is a bit faster as well. Yes, the jet dial on this waver has been extinct for centuries. I was surprised myself. I would have never guessed that your broken waver had such a thing, Pagaya told Nami. Nevertheless, what shall we do now? I was planning on taking everyone to the border of Skypia. We should just go to the beach where we are going to regroup, Nami told the man. I'm sure they'll get there safely. If those 4 are together, no one can beat them. There isn't a 4-member group on the island, Asa told the navigator. Nami grunted. There are only 2-member groups, not 4, Asa stated. So, this is that mantra thing, Nami stated as she realized that the girl wasn't lying. I've been able to do it since my birth, Asa stated. The scariness of the voices disappearing. This terror, you wouldn't understand. Crybaby, Nami told the girl. I'm not crying, the girl yelled fiercely. Stupid Blue Sea woman. Miss Asa's waver is broken and we found her attacked by a sky fish on the way here, Knis interjected. What are you planning, Nami asked the girl. I dunno, but I just can't sit here, Asa replied. Then tell me, is the strongest voice alive, Nami asked as the girl looked at her. I can feel on. It's got a small amount of darkness surrounding it, but the voice is alive, Asa replied. Then we will win, Nami stated in confidence. He could never lose. With Luffy, the captain of the Straw Hats was frowning as he felt the people that he got of the island was killing. Although he was immensely proud of his crew attacking and winning all of their fights so far, he looked down at his seat and noticed that the snake was slowly continuing on his way to the giant beanstalk. Something must be there that he want. The boy noted as he began to feel the change in the air. Get out of here, Luffy told the giant snake as he jumped from its head and landed on the ground. Luffy could feel the change in the air as he noticed the electricity surrounding him. A smirk formed on the pirate's face as he realized what was happening. A loud bang went off as a bolt of lightning hit the ground and a human form began to take place. The form still had the lightning dancing across his body as he was fully formed. It's time to slay a god, Luffy stated as the darkness began to flow off of his body. Okay, sadly the chapter is over. And if you enjoyed the video, just leave a like and subscribe with post notification, so when the next chapter is ready, you will be notified. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye.